And good evening. Welcome to the Motor Age TST Climate Control Service and Diagnostics. My name is G. Trulia.
And I'm Pierre Respo.
And look at that. We're here to do some stuff with air conditioning. Now, as you may or may not know, we are on a 25 CTSV vehicle that has 1234YF. Most people know 134A, and one of the things we'll bring up now, 134A pressures are pretty much the same as 1234YF. So it's not a pressure difference. There is a time difference.
Yeah, big time difference.
You've got to allow yourself the mandatory 10-minute vacuum leak check, the 3-minute sealant check, because you don't want sealant. We're going to talk about that, okay? But that's not mandatory. That's to cover your butt and your machine.
And you have to follow every little instruction in the machine.
Oh yeah. If not, you go into lockout mode. Okay, and you don't want that. There's all different machines out there. We're going to be using a CPS machine here. But whatever brand you have, it could be a Mala, it could be a Robin Air, you have to follow the prompts exactly. Why? Because these have built-in identifiers. If you don't have an identifier, it wants to connect by USB or Bluetooth, or you're not going to be able to service the vehicle. The air conditioning machine will not work. That humming noise you hear in the background is the machine actually working. We are putting more 1234YF into the machine. Okay, so it is right there next to Pierre.
It had like a pound in it, less than a pound.
You know, my guys love to do it. We have another machine too, but God forbid they fill that up, right? So it is what it is. So the next thing here, we're looking at this right here. This is man tooth. And you may go, what the hay is man tooth? Well, we can see that we have 94.9 on the low side and 88 on the high side. Now you may be going, why is that? Well, the shop is air conditioned, and the air condition is actually cooling the high side more so than internally in the vehicle.
And the car's been sitting in this state for over an hour now, an hour and change.
Yeah, and it's about 70-something degrees we have it set for in here, so it's comfortable, but the air does hit the machine. So we want to just show you a little note you should make. On any system, when the vehicle has not been running for a good 15 minutes or so, both sides should be equal. And it should be equal to the underhood temperature roughly.
Right. That's a rule of thumb, but it's pretty good.
It's pretty close. It's usually 1 Fahrenheit equals 1 degree. So somewhere under the hood of that vehicle, it's 88 degrees.
Or 94, but you know, in that range.
Well, 94 is going to be inside.
Yeah, right.
It's a little warmer because we have the window up a bit.
Actually, you know, that's normally the rule, but we're actually clamped on 2 pipes that are, you know, under the hood. So it's going to be representative of what's inside the car.
These are the pipes, and this is the actual gauge temperature.
Actually, Doreen, can you swing over? I just want to show these man-tooth devices. These are the actual devices here. And they are clamped onto
high and low side.
High and low side, and little temperature clamps that you can't see because they're deep under the hood here.
And you got to remember, the reason why these are harder on a lot of these new vehicles, first of all, because this is a dual turbocharged, all that baloney. This car is tight like a shoehorn, but you have IHX. So that is for supercooling, and that means you have a low side hose helping to cool down the high side. That way it's more efficient. This vehicle only takes about 17 ounces. 16 ounces is a pound. That is not a lot in this vehicle.
Wait a minute. I'm going to read off the exact conversion because it was like, whoa, 17.637 ounces.
And what was it in the kilograms?
0.5 kilograms.
0.5 kilograms. Okay. At any rate, our sponsor for tonight is AutoZone. AutoZone makes a bunch of great parts here that we have. You know, on 1234 YF, the evaporator has to be DOT approved. One of the things you should look for, you know, when you get an evaporator, you see how this is sealed up? You don't want this off. You want, when you do take this off, it should be the last minute, because this will be in a vacuum. What else do they need to do when they put this in, before they put this in?
Pre-charge it with a little bit of oil.
That's right. And you know what we usually do? We put CO2 in one side, block the other, and check for a leak. Why do we do that?
Because you don't want to do this job twice.
Exactly. You think my fat ass
What if they drop that?
Wants to get under that dashboard again? No way.
No, and that's a pain in the neck job.
Oh, it's a hard job. So that's that. Now, obviously, cabin air. Cabin airs can give us a problem. Always check for that. We're going to be talking about a tool that can make life easier, and we might as well show you here, but we're going to actually use it on the car. This pile tool here is going to tell us temperature. It's an anemometer. It will tell us the speed and the temperature. So if I blow, look at that, I got speed. See the lower number? I'm not that good of a blower,
and that
I
doesn't
guess.
mean he's full of hot air or anything.
I think so. But
somebody might have accused him of that. But
it's an inexpensive tool
to see
that could save you a lot of time. Why pull the cabin air filter out that may take you 15 minutes and then go in, hey, Mrs. Jones.
Oh, it's clean already.
Or it's clean, or I don't have the money right now.
Right.
I'll do that next time when I come in. Now, you blew 15 minutes taking it out, you got 15 minutes taking it in.
Right. All right. This is a, you know, the blower control. Some of these are just kind of solid state variable. Some of them are like the old-fashioned resistor, but it's for blower speed, right?
And that's more like this electronic nowadays.
And the reason it has these fins on it is because it makes heat.
You bet.
You got to dissipate the heat.
And then you have your blower fan, right? Now, a lot of times rodents love going in here. My stepdaughter's car one time, super disgusting. Dead little ones in here. It was,
Yeah.
You know, that's
nasty.
when you glove up, mask up, and put, you know, some eye protection on as well, and get all that stuff out. Now, if the blower's not working, you have bidirectional with your scan tool, right?
Yep.
You know, scan tools could come in big time nowadays, because if the AC system's not working, maybe the cooling system's too hot. It's not going to make the AC work.
You know, we talk about this in other subjects. It's a good idea to do a full vehicle scan at the very beginning and look for stuff like this. Look for codes, but also look for any other anomalies.
Yeah, you may have something that is keeping the air condition from going on. It could be load shedding type of stuff. Maybe for whatever reason, the charging system's not good.
And
now, on electrified cars, like his Tesla, or, you know, my Lightning or Optic, these vehicles need air conditioning. It's not like, oh, you know, Pierre, there's only 2 months left. You know, this is going on July. I only got a couple of months.
The car will stop running.
You bet.
If it can't control the battery pack temperature.
Yeah, so make sure you can bidirectionally control a fan, whether it's this fan or the fan in front of the radiator, okay? Those fans all need to work. And if the fan works, don't go ordering a part. You know that everything is good. It must be a sensor problem, correct?
Or I'm going to be I like to be more specific, a sensor signal problem, because the sensor might be good, but there might be a connection problem or something, or the signal is wrong.
You may have
for some
VD.
reason.
Could be voltage drop.
Yeah, whatever.
It could be. On my motorhome, we could not see the water tank, and it's a brand new motorhome. Well, a little a-hole rodent, guess what it decided to do?
Yummy.
Chew on my frickin' wire, and I had to get my fat ass under there and fix those wires. Not a good thing to do, right? So always look for rodent stuff, peppermint oil. Mothballs are illegal here in New York State and California. There are electronic detectors, bounce dryer sheets, and there's some other stuff as well.
But they are persistent, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
That's why we call them pests. Okay. orifice tube. It's hard to see in this, but there's an orifice tube in this bag. Expansion block or expansion valve if it was the single-sided type. This is how the temperature of the evaporator is controlled, the amount of refrigerant going through it, right?
Yeah, and let's talk about that. You see this garden hose? The garden hose sprayer is very similar to this expansion valve. Because if you look in here, here's a little thermo bulb, and you see that little rod in there where my finger's in the back there? That's going to go up and down, and it's like you squeeze in this all the way when it's too warm to let liquid refrigerant at low pressure go in. The heat of the car, the way the AC system is, it's not a block of ice blowing across.
A lot of people think it is.
They think it is. How it all works is hot goes to cold. So what's happening, the heat in the vehicle is going towards this evaporator and boiling the liquid low charge refrigerant and making it a gas, which would go in, could you pull that up here? An accumulator. Now the accumulator is on the low side on some vehicles. That's if it uses the orifice tube that Pierre showed you.
You know, there's a
somewhere.
strategy. It's in here. It's in the bag. Sorry.
I got it.
So, in our youth, GM actually, same brand as the car we have here, they used to like totally overflood their evaporators, and you had to have a bunch of refrigerant in here. It had to boil off, otherwise you'd slug the compressor,
You
right?
bet.
And they used to put this, you'd think, that's really stupid. They put it on the firewall right next to the exhaust manifold. No, it wasn't stupid, it was deliberate. They made it so the heat of the exhaust manifold made sure that only vapor, no liquid reached the compressor.
Now, if you look at it, you see this? It's cut apart. This is the desiccant right in here. That's the drying agent. Oil goes to the bottom. Now, where do you find how much oil goes in? Don't be a nimnuts and think you're going to suck oil in later, because first of all, in 1234YF, there is no oil bottle on the machine for new oil or dye.
Right.
It gets injected on the low side when the vehicle is operating with the AC on. Does that make sense? At idle, not driving down the road.
So when you
say
change these
operating.
parts, you got to pre-charge based on service information.
Look in all data and see what it says to put oil in there. How do you put it in? Well, you go here after you take the caps off, and again, always should come capped. Put oil in here. I use a little turkey-based thing, a big suction needle like we have one over there. That little, you see it over there, Pierre, in the yellow doohickey? We have big ones, small ones. That's it, that little suction doohickey. Now, if you're going to use one of these suction type of devices, you must make sure whatever oil's going in there is totally clean.
So
okay,
use one of these for each oil is the bottom line. Do
You bet.
not mix. Do
We
not
have a
think you
bunch.
can clean it.
and buy yourself new beakers and cups. And by the way, you remember Pierre said it takes the vapor? You see what this tube is? When all the refrigerant comes in, liquid refrigerant goes to the bottom, the oil holds it, and only the vapor goes to the top. So the compressor, low side, is also called the suction side.
And it has to have vapor, no liquid.
No liquid.
Liquids, I like to joke, are not compressible this side of a neutron star. If you know what a neutron star is, well, you know, nothing can live there.
If you try to compress a liquid, it won't be good.
Right.
So this is a gun type with just regular PAG type oil to go in, and you got to be careful. Notice it goes on the low side. It's a 1234 YF fitting, okay? And you would do no more than 2 ounces, okay? Now, I don't like just using the oil. That's why that one is still around. And if you're on a hybrid EV, notice this is not going to be something that gets PAG oil in it. This is going to be a POE, special hybrid EV type of oil that is going to be 2 ounces with dye in it. Now, we're going to talk about dye as well. Dye is not all the same. They're not all equal, right?
No, they have different frequencies. different blacklight frequencies that will illuminate them, and they're not all chemically the same either.
Right. So here we have two different black lights. This one here is $200-300 from UView. Okay. This one here is also a UView one, but it will not pick up all the different spectrums. I may go, I don't know, they look about the same.
Yeah, they look blue, purple.
They're not the same. You
No.
need to purchase the correct one. Get yourself a better one rather than you have to stay with a specific dye spectrum. Okay?
Is there a
And
question?
dye takes at least 1 hour to circulate in the system. So don't think you're going to put it in and go, oh, there it is. It ain't going to work. Let's take some questions.
Do modern AC machines also apply oil into the AC system?
No. 1234YF machines do not put oil into the system. That is against the SAE standard. That's why we showed you those two different styles of adding oil. Good question. Okay, and then
All
we
right.
got a compressor.
Which I'm not going to pick up, so Doreen can take a, because it's, well, I'll pick it up. Okay. I'll just try not to drop it, right? Because, you know.
Pretty damn expensive.
Yeah, it'll probably fall on my foot. So, same thing. It comes sealed. You'll see the seal, the block with the seals here, and you
Power
know,
and ground for the clutch.
right? Or in some cases, it's a digital signal, right?
Well, on the bottom, you do have something here, Pierre, in the back.
Sensor,
Okay.
right?
That is a sensor.
So,
And if it's a variable compressor, be careful. There'll be a snap ring there, and there's a little solenoid in there. Never, ever remove the snap ring without recovering all the refrigerant and putting it in a vacuum. So those are some of the neat parts that we have
and then
here.
we have one more on the floor, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
a condenser.
Look at that
which
condenser.
We're not going to pick up because it's big, but if you look at the right side of it, there's a cylindrical shape on it, and that is the dryer, right?
Right, and that dryer does not have, if you notice down here, it does not have any access to remove the filter from it. But I'm going to show you
So
one here.
sometimes you can unscrew a cap and you can change that filter, sometimes that receiver dryer, and sometimes, like in my BMW, you have to change the whole condenser.
Right.
And this one too.
This one would be, the new one would be a change of whole condenser. This one here, a little beaten up, as you can see.
It's
But
been through a
you
lot.
see the cap here on the bottom? The cap on the bottom unscrews, and you then, when you remove all the refrigerant and have it in a vacuum, could put a new filter in. That would be just like the drying agents I showed you in the accumulator. So it would be very, very similar. Any questions on that so far? So these are just some of the components. One that we're not showing you, a receiver dryer. A receiver dryer goes with an expansion valve.
This was about to hit the floor, so I figured I'd, you know,
Good. We'll chuck it.
be smart.
All right, let's move on to some stuff here.
Yep.
First of all, when we're working with refrigerant, safety, safety, safety. Okay? You're looking at a minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit with 1234 YF.
That hits your
Okay.
eyeball, you are blind.
You're done. You're blind. You know, years back when R12, they weren't worried too much. I used to take the Spalding when I did a air conditioning class and bounce it, and people go, what the hell's this idiot doing? But what I would do after that is put goggles on, take that Spalding with a glove on, and freeze it and drop it. And guess what would happen?
It shattered.
It shattered, and that'd be your eyeball. Now, of course, we can't do that now. The ozone layer, yada, yada,
Yeah,
yada.
you can't. Well,
Cataracts.
there was a
and
way to
all
test
that.
for leaks that was purely poisonous, too. Remember
Phosgene
that?
gas.
Phosgene gas.
Oh, yeah. Questions? Pierre is taking a peek at the questions. I'm going to move along here. And again, tonight, this is brought to you by AutoZone. We thank them for sponsoring this. We'll probably go out near 2 hours, if not maybe a little longer. It's your webinar. You ask the questions, 1234 YF. Now I sit on the Max board. I'm going to give you something from Max because it's not just air conditioning anymore. It's climate control. And as Pierre and I stated before, using the scan tool, using the most important tools that God gave you, your brain, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your hands. How many times you've seen things, felt things, smelt things? Come on, we got to use them all and go into all data. I'm going to show you one with a TSB, a technical service bulletin. Have you ever had your windows fogged up? And in the winter, if you live in cold weather, ice inside your windows. You go, ice inside your windows? Yes, that's because moisture did not go out. And what they did is they programmed that fan, they programmed this baby to blow more even when your vehicle button is shut off or the key is out of the ignition. But it has to be programmed for that. Does it make sense? So one of the things that God gave us, our brain and our eyes and the fingers, go on all data and look if there's anything.
And it's funny, I have a story of my own. The other day I started up my own car, my BMW, and I had the, I just had the regular climate control setting for whatever, and the fan went woo all by itself. It was too hot in the car. Okay.
And some cars, by the way, open moon roofs up
Yeah, they
to do
stuff.
some cooling.
So the question
quicker.
is, does 1234YF, there's something missing with metals in any of the components like R12? I think the question is there corrosion or is there an attack on metals in there? I think that's what he meant by
Yes,
that.
okay. So the old R12 was chlorine. Chlorine base would cause hydrochloric acid. R134 and 1234YF is hydrofluoric acid. So yes, it can eat away from the inside out. Well, how does it do that? Well, one of the things that all these new machines, if you bought the latest standard, it has a built-in identifier. Well, you're not only worried about other refrigerants, because the machine won't let you go further, but how about if you have air?
Air with moisture, especially the moisture, because what do you have now? You have oxygen, you have water, and you have the chemistry of the refrigerant. Bingo!
And there's
Magic
your
formula.
hydrofluoric acid.
Yep.
So if you ever see air, and by the way, the absence of refrigerant, this 17.6 ounce piece of junk over here, my car, by the way. But if this thing is low, and by the way, it is low, we did something with an epithet chart. That's the man tooth.
There's a question about
okay, hang on.
flammability too. Sorry.
When you look at this type of stuff, anything that is low, you need to look for a leak. Do not simply top off. You need to make sure your equipment is in good working order. When was the last time you checked your scale? Oh, you lost the weight. Oh, poor you. You get 33 pennies and put it on the tank in a little bag so they don't fall under the scale and get stuck there. And roughly you should see 3 ounces. So if you had 2 pounds, 3 ounces in your tank, you should have 2 pounds, 6 ounces. Anything more than 1 ounce difference, you're going to need to adjust the scale. And how do the scales go off? Well, you're wheeling it around, you bump it into the machine, never lean into the machine.
You roll it outside over the curb thing of your garage door and it goes boom, boom all the time. Yeah.
Before,
it's
I
hammered.
mean, we just had the area paved here. But before that, it got pretty beaten up in 20 some odd years, 30 years. And you rolled the machine out there. There was a bump here, a bump there. It's going to beat the tar out of your machine. So make sure you check it. Some of them are little weights about this big. That is something to make sure you can check. Question?
Okay, so how flammable is the new 1234YF?
It's they say mildly flammable. Well, I can tell you that I've tested it, and when I had a tank like this one right here, okay, this is a 1234YF tank, and we're going to talk about when you get rid of it. If you open it up and I put a lighter here, it threw a flame out 2 arm lengths, okay? So it is flammable. Now, there is something we're going to be doing retrofitting. And you go, retrofitting?
Oh boy, here we go again.
Is this something old from years ago? No. What's going to happen is 134A, excuse me, and 1234YF are going to be phased out. There's already a few new refrigerants. Our TST roundtable coming up on the 15th of July. We will have MAX members on. We will have a couple of refrigerant companies on. You should check stuff out because you're going to have to buy more equipment if you want to work with other refrigerants.
And it's not quite here yet, but it's coming.
Oh, it's close, real close. Now, once you are done with your 1234 YF tank, just like the 134 tank, you're supposed to put the tank in a vacuum, and then you get a punch and bang on this hole here, and it'll go right in. Otherwise, it's going to go boing, 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 because you're not in a vacuum. It'll be very difficult to pop. Once you're done, you write the word empty on it. That way, when you dispose of it, you're in compliance with EPA and your state requirements. So please make sure you do that. Question?
How different is the dual air conditioning system versus the singular air conditioning system in modern vehicles?
What do you mean by dual air conditioning systems?
You mean like on an SUV or something that has one in the back?
Right, an extra evaporator, or you're talking different, the right side could be colder, the left side. I have one vehicle of mine, front and back, so you have 4 different temperature controls. All that is blend air door stuff that we'll be talking about.
Though the front and back, that is the ones that are like a big SUV that has they'll have a separate evaporator in the back. So that's actually one compressor condenser section, but 2 evaporator boxes.
And
one
2
in the
expansion valves.
And 2 expansion valves, one in the front of the car, one in the back of the car.
In fact, my Ford Escape Hybrid has that. In the front, you could have heat. It'll be freezing winter. The battery gets hot in the back. Well, guess what? The AC system is going to be running. You won't feel any cold air up front, but you will see refrigerant in the back cool that battery. Any other questions before we move on? All right, we covered a lot there. All right, let's go through. So, hey, what to expect with this webinar?
Well, Jerry was already talking about this. Visual inspection techniques.
Yeah.
Use your eyes.
We'll deliver a comprehensive technician-focused approach to properly checking, servicing, and diagnosing today's AC system. Whether you're dealing with performance complaints, airflow issues, refrigerant concerns, this session will give you procedures and testing strategies needed to get the job done. Go ahead, Pierre.
And as I said, visual inspection. It's visual inspection techniques, but the point is you have to visually inspect everything. Don't fail to do that, to go ahead. System performance testing. We're going to talk quite a bit about that. Temperature testing and cabin air evaluation. Jerry kind of gave you a little bit of the airflow test, but there's more to that.
Refrigerant sealant detection. This is a huge problem. Huge problem. Every store you go into, a big supermarket type of place, a Walmart, a parts store,
they're all mixing sealants in it.
Sells it. And the problem is, I had a guy, and this is God's honest truth. I'm teaching, I don't know, somewhere, I don't know where I was, but the guy came up in my air conditioning class and he said, I'm on my 4th machine. I'm like, what are you talking about? He ruined 3 machines with sealant. He had no clue that sealant can ruin his machine. So we're going to talk about what you can do. AutoZone sells AirSep products, and you want an air guard. In fact, if you look right here, you see what I have on my machine? An air guard. That way, if we do a sealant detection, which we're going to show you, you need to do, if you're never going to do a sealant detection, and I forgot where we put the kit, it's around here somewhere.
We had it earlier.
Right here. We got more stuff than...
If you're never going to detect, you have to do the air guard on every single car.
Right. So we use this, and we're about on our 4th one here. Okay? This goes to 1234 YF, but here's the baby.
So
There's a little ball in there.
And a little orifice so that if it goes up as you're letting the
And you'll see
refrigerant
us do
through,
it.
then you're okay. But if it stops going up, if the sealant hardens in the tool, then you have
Then
sealant.
you'll be a tool, okay?
Yeah, you have sealant in your system.
Yeah.
And
Now-
you'll ruin your machine if you use.
We get quite a few people. Some people are honest and they go, oh yeah, my cousin put a couple of these cans of this stop leak stuff in. Oofa.
Well, they may not even know it's stop leak. They'll say the charge was low and my cousin, whatever, filled it up for me.
And you know how us Americans are. If one is good, well, 2 or 3 got to be way better.
Absolutely.
So that's not a good thing. So we're going to show you how to do that. That ball should not move. It should not drop in 3 minutes.
Right.
So we're going to do that just in a little bit. Okay. So that's a big problem out there. Refrigerant identification. Well, now it's going to get super crazy. Not only over the years, I mean, I've been using a refrigerant identifier from the 90s because people not only put R12, there was 22, 13. Propane.
Talk about flammable.
Yeah, but you know what? Boy, it makes your barbecue tank nice and cold. And there was a company called OZ 12 years back, approved by the government, because it didn't hurt the ozone layer, but it was super flammable.
Yeah,
okay?
so if you were in a crash and anything burst inside the car.
Ba-boom.
Yeah.
So make sure you're not putting anything in that's not correct. Now, when we talk about 1234YF, remember, this is DOT approved, this evaporator, right? Remember I said the evaporator has to be DOT approved. So you want to make sure that goes on that hose pier, that, you know, we check this thing here, put that there. Let me get this other thing out of here that goes down right on it.
I did it again.
You want to make sure. So what do you need? I'm going to mention this multiple times. This is a 2913 leak detector. J2913 leak detector that can actually pick up 3 grams of leak a year. Now, what do you do with this thing? Well, when you go to charge up a 1234YF car, remember we said after you recovered a refrigerant, you had extra time. You got 10 minutes whether you like it or not. You can't bypass it. Mandatory vacuum check. That doesn't mean that's your evacuation of the system. Water boils at 59 degrees Fahrenheit at 29 inches of vacuum. Water normally boils at atmospheric pressure at 212. So you're boiling the moisture out when it's under a vacuum. This is why it's important to make sure you got good vacuum pump oil, an extra filter, because all these machines will warn you, you have 1 hour left. Oh, what do you mean I got 1 hour left? Yes, and then your machine will shut down. You will not be able to use it
Unless you service
it.
Yeah.
Okay,
You should have been doing it all along anyway, by the way.
But we don't know what we don't know in life, right? So,
Okay, so I have 2 questions. Will the sniffers continue to work with the 1234YF?
not the old ones. It has to be, if you're talking about a sniffer, again, this is a certified J2913. So if you pull in on this, Doreen, it'll have the SAE spec on it. Okay, now you see that there? Design the 2913 leak detection right here. Okay, so no, this is a special one. It'll set you back a few $100. Mandatory to have if you got and most shops don't have it. You're a shop owner, you need it. It is mandatory to check this because the machine is going to ask you. And you're lying to the machine when it said, put the air inside the car to the floor. Put the fan on low, the vehicle off. 15% of a charge. You can't even charge the vehicle up all the way. Why 15% of the charge? Because the low side will be higher when the vehicle is off. And if there's any leak within 5 minutes, that thing beeps on the highest sensitivity. You have to fail it and you have to recover the refrigerant.
Have scan tools become more accurate with throwing codes in the HVAC systems?
Yes, scan tools have done a great job. Actually, I'll give a plug to the new Autel system coming out. Autel has a scan tool that gauges connect to it, and it is pretty neat. It has an empathy chart type of setup, like the man tooth we're showing you.
He says that way every time, but and I do it too. Enthalpy.
Oh, whatever. I'm from the Bronx. What's the difference?
From the Bronx. So it's not a word you've heard before, but it's enthalpy. And it really is a measure of how efficiently the heat is being transferred from inside the car to outside the car.
Right.
That's what it is.
And it's very, very accurate.
I had to do it, you know.
You've seen that's fine. You know, why would you want to get that? Now, I showed you a couple of different condensers. Now, in the beginning, when we started doing 1234 YF here, and God, we've been doing it, it's got to be 10 plus years, when it first came out. Not for our customers, because customers, they're in the warranty. But body shops,
Yeah.
brand new car going
They
down the
wreck
road.
'em.
And what do insurance companies want to do? You think they want to buy that Mercedes condenser? You think they want to buy that Denso compressor or name brand evaporator? No,
Nope.
no. They're going to buy the cheapest piece of junk. And there is a difference on the quantity that could be in there. And this is not your father's Oldsmobile, Pontiac, Plymouth, or Saturn. They're all out of business. You'll be out of business.
Those are extinct brands.
They're extinct. You will not be able to get the vehicle cold enough. Remember, we used to charge from the low side. Oh, feeling
Yeah, it
cold.
feels
Oh,
good.
It's good. It's
Of course,
good.
we had sight glasses that we used to, oh yeah, it's not bubbling anymore. It's okay.
And I'm glad you brought sight glasses up. Now, you will still get receiver dryers with sight glasses. Do not use them. They're usually painted over. Do not use them. You're not looking for bubbles. You need to put the exact charge in there.
Right.
Now, when you put the wrong component in, not your fault, the insurance, and we've gone through this, that's when I'm going to use this man-tooth setup. Why? Because I don't know the right amount. That condenser was made in a foreign country, not to SAE standard or the manufacturer's standard, and you don't know how much. It's usually less.
And it may not even be the consistent for the same part number from the same source a week or two later.
Yeah. So that's why you would need it. Or you work on specialty things like maybe an ambulance or a special truck. Now, they use these things in big buildings. Why? Well, if I'm putting air conditioning in a building and I'm only going up 5 stories, and another one I'm going up 10 stories, there's going to be a difference, and you're not going to know
Big difference.
how much is going to be in there. This is where they use it, okay? And you're going to need to do it. So Autel has that built into their new air conditioning tool. It's a little delayed in coming out, but it will be out. And I'm not here to sell you, or Pierre, I'm not here to sell you stuff. We're here to make your life easier so you can make
you
money
aware.
and be aware of it.
Now, if you type in the word, and not in this chat, but on a piece of paper at home, enthalpy, there are enthalpy charts. It's a little mind-boggling, but
let's look at it right there.
there you go. Doreen, if you can zoom in on the tablet here. This is an enthalpy chart.
And right now, if you look at it, notice how this, you see this little box here, is in this little Y loop. You see how that's in there? That actually is showing you you're in the proper range, but we're not running the car.
Right.
And we'll show you when we run it in just a few minutes that that may not be what we're going to see. Because like almost every new car that I have purchased, they're about 2 ounces short. Now think about that. You know, the industry 12 to 16 million or 18 million at one point, but I think it's about 13 or so million that they sold. If you short 2 ounces on every car,
Times 13 million.
you're talking some crazy big money, right? Because you're paying about $600-700 for 10 pounds, right? So that is pretty damn expensive.
So there was a little add-on to the question about scan tools. He was asking about blend doors. Can they really help you with airflow, blend doors?
Oh, sure.
And the answer is yes, not everybody and not every scan tool. But yes,
No.
modern cars have gotten way better at that.
Yes, and you know, we're going to talk about that in a second. Got a couple of slides on that too. You have to hone the doors. So a lot of times they become out of calibration and it's not going to be working correctly. Where, and don't answer this, Pierre, I want you guys to answer it. Where does air default to? Now, over the years, people have come in, they've gone to another shop down the street. It's not cooling right because they're not feeling air coming out of the panel ducts. Where does air default to? Let's see, please type it in. Where does air default to? Good. The frost. The frost is really, it has to clear the glass. And by the way, it's not just a thing to clear the glass in the summer or the winter. The air conditioning system removes moisture from the system, right? And another thing, remember I told you to brain the eyes, the ears, the nose, the hands? This time of year, look under the vehicle. No water leaking down there? Oh, water may be leaking inside.
And
you
if
got
your
a clogged
carpet's
drain.
wet, ooh.
And you got mildew and stinky room?
Yeah, and cars that have modules under the carpet, green, you know, corrosion problems on wiring, connectors and all of that.
We have a couple of things like this that actually clean the bacteria and stuff out. We have a whole machine upstairs that does it as well. And after not 9/11, after the pandemic, I was saying 9/11, after the pandemic, you know, we did a lot of vehicles. So we have this out because we've done that, okay? Now, let's move on to, we were here, leak testing. Now, every vehicle, as you're gonna see, we got another thing set up there from AirSep that's on the carp here. Why don't you point to that blue thing? Okay, so you see that right there? We're gonna show you how the compressor is actually operating. You're gonna see dye in there. You're gonna see if the system is sucking in the refrigerant from one side to the other. Now, when we use that, we already put it in a vacuum. Never ever connect anything, including the man tooth. We vacuumed it. Why? Because there's air there. You're gonna put air in the system.
And we were just telling you about air creating acid.
Not good, okay?
What's the name of that chart you just had up there?
Enthalpy.
Empathy.
So ENTHALPY.
Oh, wow, Pierre, you spelled that right.
Wow.
You didn't go to Catholic school. They didn't beat you enough.
No, they didn't beat it into me now.
What did you recommend for the water coming out into the car when the AC is running?
Well, we're talking about just
Well, you
making
want to
sure
make
that
sure the tube is
the
clear.
drain is clear.
So how can I fix or prevent it?
Preventing it is a complicated subject, because what if you had that aforementioned mouse nest in there, somebody pulled the old microfilter, the old cabin air filter out, didn't look first, the dirt went past that spot and it got sucked into the bottom of the box, and now the bottom of the box is full of debris. That's a nightmare. Gigantic nightmare.
There are some foams that you could spray in the box up, and you put water of very low pressure to try to flush it out. Bottom line is, when that happens real bad, most of the time you have to rip stuff apart.
You got to take it apart.
Always check the hose. Be careful putting up a screwdriver or whatever. You go up too far, you may put a hole.
You put a hole in the evaporator. But
Or
if
heater core.
it's just mold or some kind of growth, you may be able to spray it with, you know, there's a variety of
stuff right there.
that foam stuff, and you know, you hope it clears it enough.
Right.
Don't
You're gonna have
just-
to do it multiple times.
I was
I'll
just
tell
going
you
to
that.
say, don't assume that it's fixed. Test it over and over again to make sure it stays fixed.
Cool. Now the other thing here, leak testing. So leak testing, we said dye, the different black lights, the different spectrum. And please remember that you have to run the AC system a minimal an hour for dye to circulate.
That's after you've installed it, right? After you
Now,
put it in there.
Right. I'm going to give you another tip, or it's in there already. I'm going to give you another
Right.
tip. A lot of times the bottom of that condenser, real big on GMs, real big on Honda, both of them have TSBs. So right over here, this is where oil lays on the bottom. They leak there. Now, you're not going to see dye if the dye has been leaking out. It's an oily substance, isn't it? Oil is going to attract dirt. So when you're looking with your black light, you don't see it because the dye is covered with dirt.
With dirt.
So here's what I recommend. You get a little rag. Don't use your fingers. The stuff is sharp. Get a rag and just give it a quick little brush off and recheck with your black light. And again, Hondas, there's a TSB. You can get it for free. And General Motors both have condenser type problems. There's many other vehicles as well, but those are the two we've seen a lot of.
And it's very simple. Repair is by replacement.
Yes. We'll talk about no manufacturer recommends flushing, because when you look at these, look at those little metal things down here. Look at this.
Yeah, very fine
You
tubes.
see this? And by the way, you can't use the rake of years ago. We used to talk about raking bugs
Yeah,
off.
we used to comb them out, yeah.
You can't comb them out. You need a soft brush. We use an air vacuum. Do not use an electric vacuum. You use a air vacuum with a brush and you try to go over it. Is it going to be easy? Hell no. Try to get in this grill.
Yeah.
And when you try to get in that grill, you take the grill off of something, uh-oh, ADAS is there. And you just moved something.
Yes, your
and that
camera,
could be an issue.
your radar sensor, whatever it is.
And this is no BS. Just this past week, 2 lawyers contacted me to be an expert witness on stuff involving ADAS. Of course, I don't have time to do that, and I am no ADAS expert either. So I told them to go look for someone else. CO2. Now, CO2 is a smaller molecule. Now, we also have behind me nitrogen and foaming gas, which is 5% hydrogen. Remember the Hindenburg? Oh my God, it's the Hindenburg going down.
You know, that wasn't hydrogen, don't you? The Hindenburg blew up, burned because they had doped the entire outer hull with something similar chemically to what is now in solid rocket boosters.
Those
The
Germans
hydrogen
did everything.
burned afterwards, and the Nazis made it sound like we were at fault because we wouldn't sell them helium, but it was really the doping on their airframe.
He knows a lot, this guy's a walking book.
Yeah, yeah.
But helium, now I ordered from Airgas. It took them over 6-7 months to get more. And a company like Robin Air, that's what they use for leaks. Now, nitrogen is a smaller molecule than 1234YF or 134A or R12 for that matter. But so is CO2. Nitrogen's a little smaller, but if it's beeping, you may not know where the leak is.
Yeah.
One of the nice things with CO2,
It's quite unique. He's going to show you the tester here.
we use this from ATS and not a sales pitch, okay? Reason why I like this, if CO2 is leaking, he's gonna get the little foam can.
Yep.
Let's say it's beeping over here. You're not sure, is it there, is it here? Well, you spray this little foam.
And think
Okay.
of that like a litmus test. Remember high school chemistry or whatever? It changes color, blue to pink, or in this case, to yellow.
To yellow, pink to yellow.
Pink to yellow, but the idea is the same. It changes color, and that tells you that that's the exact source.
In fact, approved by General Motors, and there are a few other companies looking at it, especially when it comes, I mean, GM approved it for everything, but especially when it comes to their high voltage batteries. Remember, a lot of these batteries are not only cooled by, engine coolant, they all do that, but they also have the AC system. So you need your system working good and you don't want leaks.
No.
Okay, evacuation and service procedures. Now, evacuation is a biggie. When we're talking all these new machines, you need at least 30 minutes. Now, when you do that 10-minute mandatory, that is not going to really count other than it held it there. It's looking for a leak. And if it fails a 10-minute hold, you won't put the 15% of a charge
That's it.
in.
You're stopped.
You got to find out where that leak is, okay? Vacuum is different. If vacuum holds, the difference between vacuum and pressure is like night and day. You won't find the leaks, and people with bubbles and Mr. Bubbly. Yeah, I got Mr. Bubbly over here.
The bottom line
Bubble
is
monster, okay?
your AC
Works
is under
good.
pressure. It's not under vacuum.
Finding bubble leaks is like, forget it. You're going to have a problem. So use the right stuff, and you won't have a problem. So we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. We do want to say that the recording will be available at Motor Age Training, the account you signed on, and at tstseminars.org. So here's some of the parts that they make, and this is that receiver dryer we were talking about. And by the way, this is 3 different types of valves here. You see this orifice tube? This is a fixed orifice tube. What does that mean, Pierre?
It means it has a specific size hole in it, and it is made for one specific system.
Right. Now that means like, hey, you want it to get colder? Well, it can't. It has one hole and one hole only to let the refrigerant to. Now when you see this little thermo bulb on the end here, this is a variable one. This may cost 15 bucks, this may cost 30 bucks. I highly recommend, these are the only things we use in our shop. Variable, why? It can make the temperature colder.
And yet not flood the evaporator core.
Remember when I told you just like this? The spray nozzle, it's hot, full stream. You see where my hand is? I'm pressing that handle
And I'm getting
all
washed
the way down.
away by the refrigerant.
And if it's cold, I let off on it. I don't let as much through.
Right.
And the newer ones just look a little funkier. So I want you again to remember, even though there is a sight glass on many of these, do not look at them. They're not for charging.
No.
Now, AutoZone also sells a bunch of these. These are screens that go in the compressor if you had a compressor grenade, meaning blow up. You're going to have debris. You may even have something called black death. That is pieces of metal that start cutting the rubber hoses and gook gets all over the place. That will ruin the new compressor.
And the receiver dryer desiccant or the accumulator desiccant salts can also look like that. And the whole idea is to not let that stuff into your brand new compressor, blow it up.
Right. When you see it look milky-ish white gray, you got problems.
That's a problem.
Okay. That means the desiccant broke. Now, most desiccants can't be replaced like in that receiver dryer.
Yeah, you buy the whole thing.
But the old GM valve in receiver dryer or that condenser I showed you at the bottom, those are replaceable ones. So sometimes they can, most of the times they cannot.
And you can flush it till the cows come home, but the fact is, you still got to have a filter in there.
Right. And hoses, make sure hoses are good, seals are good. The number one leaking area is what, Pierre?
That's right, I don't know that.
Schrader valves, number one.
Oh, the valves. Oh, actually, that's a good point. Just like with tires, the primary seal on these systems is not the valve. It's the cap. It's true of tires, too. People don't get it. Primary seal is the cap. Secondary seal is the valve.
And by the way, how many vehicles you see come in, the caps are missing. So what happened there, Pierre? Dirt got in there.
Yeah. That's
Now,
right.
when you go screw down your machine on there,
You just put dirt
the
into
dirt
it.
went in, and yes, you let off, and it's going to leak, but you don't know it's leaking.
Right.
Now, this may sound a little disgusting, but in my opinion, spit is the best thing to see that you got a leak there. It's going to be dye because everything you take off, it's got dye in it. Right. So you won't see it, but you put a little spit in there, not water. Why? Your spit bubbles more, you will see the damn leak big time. Now, there are different tools that you don't need to take all the refrigerant out. You can just put it right on, has a little valve, lock it down. In fact, say something to them, Pierre, because I'll show them. I have
He's going to show you this thing that has a valve on it, and the rod goes through to take the valve out, and then you seal it off again. And oh yeah, there you go. That's it.
There's the whole kit.
Pretty cool.
This is great. We got a bunch of these.
Geez, I wish I had invented that.
You know, when this thing goes down, and you can see it goes through something like this where you can shut it off, you know, going through, and then you can shut that thing off so nothing leaks out. These are a godsend.
They're brilliant.
They're brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant.
So there's a bunch of different sizes of them as well. You need all the right tools.
However, there are installations where the stupid assembly on the hose is aimed
the wrong place.
It's in the wrong direction, and you can't do that.
That's quite aggravating.
Yes. All right. Oh, yes.
Now, an important thing. Starting in January 2018, you were required to present a copy of your 609 AC certification card to your auto parts store. This is mandatory if you purchase more than 2 pounds. Now, yes, Flunky Joe, the mechanic, you know, backyard mechanic, anyone could walk in and buy up to 2 pounds without a license. But the way the law reads, if you're being paid, meaning you're getting compensated, even barter, that you are getting something out of it, you must be licensed. If you haven't taken a 609 certification, You can't do that valve job where you got to open up that air conditioning system. You're going to need someone with a 609. All the parts stores, if you're a parts store person, you need at least a 609 license from the shop. Everyone that works here has a 609. I am a Max Proctor, besides a Max board member, where we do not only hands-on, or you could take the test online, some of these things,
And it's not
or
that
by
hard
mail.
to do, you
It's
know,
not hard.
you can go through it, yeah. Not a big deal.
We did make the test better than before. It's not all about cataracts and all that. I'm going to show you one thing, courtesy of Max. You ever have a problem where your machine keeps going back and trying to get the refrigerant out, the pressure keeps going up? We're going to show you and talk about how to do a preheat and melt the refrigerant that is frozen in that accumulator can. Question.
Yeah, are all the replacement valves made equally?
Are all the replacement valves made equally? Probably not. There's a lot of junk
Yeah,
out there.
That's what he said. There's a
You
lot of
know,
bad units.
there's a lot of stuff out there. Each year we buy a quality thing. You know, if you're buying them online and made by Hochohanka company in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere land, I wouldn't trust that. Go, you know, it's the same with one of my guys. One time we were out of the heat shrink with the solder in it, and he bought some crap online, and boy, it was crap. You know, the stupid thing that was supposed to melt solder didn't melt all the time. The heat shrink was no good. It was just a waste of money. Threw 'em
There's
the
an
hell out.
absolute lot of junk out there, isn't
Lot
there?
of junk. You know, they promise a lot of stuff, right? But don't go by that.
Yep.
And Max, by the way, if you don't have a Max membership, it is beneficial to you. There's a lot of good information there. We'll also be having a Max training event down in Savannah, Georgia in January. There'll be a lot of good training down there as well. All right, let's go over the AC system here. Let's start with the expansion valve setup. So out of the compressor is a high what?
So
High
that-
pressure.
That is a high pressure, high temperature gas still.
Right, a vapor. Then it goes here, and remember, 1 PSI is roughly 1 Fahrenheit. On a hot day, well, today's a beautiful day, but let's say you got an 85-degree day. You're going to probably have about 300 PSI in the high side, okay? Now, it's not 300 degrees outside, it's 85, 90, even 100, right? Hot goes to cold, so what's going to happen, the heat is going to transfer out as it cools down. The high pressure gas turns into a high pressure liquid. The high pressure liquid goes through, what's this, Pierre?
Receiver dryer.
Notice the little part right there that's showing you, come on. You see that? That's oil in the desiccant in the bottom. Don't forget to put oil in. Oil is super important. Every year, and we just bought them, okay? You see all these beakers? No, I'm not going to be Susie Homemaker, but we use this because we have to measure oil. That compressor could come full with oil. It could be dry, and it may require special oil in so many ounces that you need to
And by the way,
drain.
there was a sticker on this. I think it's still in the box, but the manufacturer will tell you whether it's got oil in it, do not fill, or it needs oil. Got to put the
Okay.
right oil in too for the system you're using.
So now the high pressure liquid goes through here, it gets cleaned up, the desiccant removes some of the moisture, comes up, goes through the expansion valve. Don't forget the expansion valve is like that garden nozzle, right? That goes from a high pressure liquid to a low pressure liquid. And by the way, that is the split of the system. What do I mean? You see how the compressor has high and low side? The expansion device or orifice tube is the split of the system. We go from a high pressure liquid to a low pressure liquid. Inside the car is heat. The low pressure liquid, the heat is boiled to a low pressure gas, goes into the suction side of the compressor. Okay, compressor squeezes it like squeezing your hands, and it does the same thing. It becomes a high pressure gas or vapor, comes out, turns to a liquid.
And we go through the cycle. So there's a question, that's a good question, by the way. Is there a difference in quality between the parts you get at a dealer from some other source? And the answer is, yeah, maybe, kind of. What brand of car, when, you know. I'm a BMW guy. I would say for me, that's often the case, but that may not be true with every brand out there. And there's a lot of aftermarket stuff out there that's actually very high, sometimes exceptional quality.
And sometimes better, they
But-
fix the problem that the OE didn't.
Yeah,
fix.
they fix something, but don't buy it from those. I'm not
White
gonna.
box.
Yeah,
The
those
no-name stuff.
the
that you don't know.
no-name stuff. Where
Online special.
The OE part, the OE compressor costs $900, and they're selling you one for $78. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work out for you.
No. Yeah, okay, so let's look here at the accumulator type. Now here we start with the condenser is a high pressure vapor going to a high pressure liquid. And by the way, always make sure that fan is turning the right way, not the wrong way. I have seen them going the wrong way, not good. In orifice tube, so now you have high pressure liquid going down to low pressure liquid. Again, the split of the system. There is the compressor between high and low side. Here between high and low side on liquid. Goes into the receiver dryer, the hot air of the car, boils that liquid. That liquid turns to a vapor, but not all of it. That's why you have the accumulator on the low side. Remember we showed you right there's a little loop. It only takes the vapor, all the liquid goes to the bottom. The vapor gets sucked into the low side and it starts all over. Are there any questions on that? This is the review of the system and it is very, very important that you understand that. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Okay, latent heat, refrigerant changes from a liquid to a vapor, back to a liquid again as it circulates through the AC system. The refrigerant change of state absorbs and releases more heat energy than would it if it was always a vapor or always a liquid. The amount of energy transferred during a change of state is greater than the actual change in temperature of the liquid or vapor. And you can see if you have ice, if ice melts, it turns to water, right? Ice 32 degrees or under Fahrenheit. Then water boils at 212, turns to a vapor, let it cool, goes down. And look at this chart. Now here's why when we did retrofits years back, 134A is not good. It's only a 15.1 degree. It's not as cold as 21.7. And look at the new stuff. Minus 22 degrees on 1234YF. Now that is a huge difference. This is why we can go with a way less amount. And IHX, again, IHX, the first system ever used, made by Denso, was used on a Toyota Sienna. That was with 134 refrigerant. Now what it does is the big coolant pipe, when you see a big pipe, that is the low side. The low side is cooling the high side before it actually gets to where it has to be cooled down. Therefore, it's more efficient. The components are built better. They're more efficient. This is how we use less refrigerant.
And it's really cold.
Really cold. Air distribution, you were talking about this. A lot of big things here. Number one, seals. When someone takes something apart, you got to play Detective Columbo. Just one more question, right? One more question. Did you have a heater core or something done? Was the dash removed? How many times people don't put stuff back? Or the flap door is broken. These doors could be vacuum operated. They could be mechanically operated. They could be electrically operated.
Or my favorite, people put stuff on the dashboard that ends up going down the vents and jamming
Jams it up.
or even breaking whatever part of that heater box they come in contact with.
Yeah, we've seen some of the little gears strip out because some coins or something went down. Don't put stuff up there. No Starbucks coffee or Dunkin' Donut, whatever your favorite is, right?
My favorite one from not that long ago, from Jeff actually, Jeff Side. 30-aught shells, bullets, down in the vents.
Not good.
No, it's bad.
All right. So making sure all of that stuff is actually all there and working. And remember, electric doors, you may need a scan tool to make sure the doors go back. Think of it like a throttle position switch.
Yeah.
It has to see it from low to high and has to calibrate it and go, hey, I'm centered. Oh, I'm all the way open. Oh, I'm all the way closed. If not, you could run into a problem. Now, yes, nice dirty filter versus a clean filter, right? Well, we're going to do this. I'm going to have Pierre get in the vehicle. We're going to use this pile setup. He's going to hold this piece right here. And
you're going to read
Doreen, and we're going to read this.
Excuse us a minute. I have to work around everything.
You can put that window down too.
Yep.
I'll try to be steady. Start her up.
Oh, you want me to start it,
Yes,
not
sir.
just key on engine off? Okay. Hold on.
Fan on high.
Okay, that's high.
All right, we're seeing 70 something degrees, 100, 1,000, 1,400. We're dropping temperature. We'll let it run just a little bit. Then I'll lock it on and I'll get a little closer. That's on max AC.
Well, it was on auto before. It's on low. It's on lowest temperature. Yeah, it's the coldest.
So we just started up. We'll also show you the man tooth while we have it running. So it looks like 1,400. I'm going to hit hold here. Okay, Pierre, I'll take that from you. We'll leave it running.
You want me to leave it on, Jerry?
Yeah, leave it on.
Okay.
So you could see we need 1,000 to 1,450 cubic standard. What we have here is 1,398, and he was in the middle duct.
Yeah, and I didn't close the other ducts to make sure it all came through the middle or anything
But
like
that's
that.
fine. If he was on the right side, it probably would have been a little higher. Maybe back here is a little better.
Maybe if you tilted it, I don't know. It's hard to see, yeah.
There you go. So 1,398, 67 degrees. Okay. This is a lot easier if you had anything less than 900. Mr. Smith, you need a cabin air filter. Isn't that a lot easier and make your job a lot better? Start using these. These things are not expensive. Use them, make your job a lot easier. Now, look at this. We have 31 degrees. How are we getting these readings? Pierre showed you that before, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, actually, this is pressure. So
Yeah.
31 psi on the
It's going
low
to be
side,
roughly
what the temperature would be inside or in the core, and 180 plus on the high side.
And here is the actual temperature probe. On the low side, it's 44 degrees, 45. High side, it's 83. Notice it does not like the subcoolant. And watch this. Let's go to the empathy, whatever the hell it's called.
Enthalpy.
Look, you see how we're off to the side?
Part of it's out of the good zone.
Now, why is it out of the good zone? This would be in, but you notice this, we're in red? When we recover this, we're not going to be able to recover all that refrigerant. It's going to be a couple of ounces low, I guarantee you. Okay. Why is that? Because this is what they do at the factory. I've had at least 7 or so new cars in the past, I don't know, 5 years or so. I'm a car nut. I'm always buying a
Really?
different car.
Huh. Who would have known?
I think I like it. Doreen thinks I'm nuts. She goes, I get confused with all these cars we got. But at any rate, every one I checked, and even my customers' cars, they have been short. When Pete and I did a Motor Age one a while back, Pierre is here with us as well. was a brand new Camaro, same thing.
It was low too.
It was low. So this is a great tool. You make it run a little more, but you want both of those in the green. This is telling us we got some sort of problem. And again, it's that easy. You can see we're out of the box. We need to be in there.
So it's a slight lack of efficiency, let's call it, of capacity.
Exactly.
It's not that the system isn't getting cold inside, it's that it's not as efficient as it should be.
Right.
As
and
powerful.
It could be, now this car has not been modified, but if this vehicle was at a body shop and they put the aftermarket, you know, Joe Schmo cheapest brand evaporator in there rather than buying a quality one from AutoZone or whatever, okay, you're going to have an issue.
Or in some parts of the country where you fly through swarms of bugs and the entire condenser is choked,
Now,
that'll mess you up.
what car was that? I think I showed you. What car was that had all those bugs on it? I don't know. There was some car in here. I remember showing Doreen going, look at all those bugs.
Yeah.
Now, we just bought a bra, not for me, okay, not for Doreen either. We bought a bra for our RV because we were down in Virginia Beach, and thank God the weather was cooler because those bugs love your grill and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And it'll clog your evaporator, your condenser up big time.
And your radiator.
Yeah, thank God I was able to clean some of it off, and now we have the bra on it, and there's no problem. So here we're getting a bit better, but not much. We're moved in a little bit, but not a lot.
It's almost in range where it should be, but not quite.
Now, and we had it running before. We don't want to waste time. What we're going to do next is shut the vehicle down. Oh, and let's look at something else, Pierre, before you shut it. So here is a inexpensive, and now they make this Bluetooth. We have one of the probes outside in the front and one in the duct inside the car. Now we got 126 degrees up front and 74 inside, okay? You want a 30-degree difference. So there's more than a 30-degree difference here, okay? If you don't have at least a 30-degree difference, you got a problem. And by the way, to get the coldest reading, not on max with the window open. This is more of a performance test. You close the doors, max AC low fan will give you the coldest.
Yep.
So let's shut her down, Pierre. I'm going to switch this thing over here. We're going to put 2 minutes of vacuum. You always want your gauges all the way down to the bottom. Never put your machine away with any pressure in the gauges. Couple of reasons. One, you could connect, it could be a line leaking, you can get shot with some refrigerant. Two, you don't know if you got a problem with your machine. Always leave them in a vacuum. So right now we're pulling it in a vacuum. The bottle we have here,
You may want to close that.
we're going to vacuum this out. I'm going to close it as soon as it gets down to a vacuum because it'll make it
Oh, you
easier
want to empty it
to
totally.
punch it and get rid of it.
And while you're doing that, Jerry, do you want me to get the man-tooth things off?
Yes. So Pierre's going to put his glasses on. He's going to take the man-tooth stuff off.
So that'll be inaccurate now because I'm shutting the power down to it.
Yeah. I'm going to shut the tablet down. Now the other thing I like to tell people is, you see this valve? When they say open, a lot of people think open is doing counterclockwise. Open is screwing it down, okay? Screwing it down, which is depressing the Schrader valve. Now, when you put this on, because these lines are so chintzy compared to years ago, always keep your hand under a line. Now, caution, caution, caution. The high side is usually hot. You don't want to burn your hand, use a rag. But don't just go like this and press down, put your hand underneath. So the first thing we're going to do now is we're going to do a sealant test.
I wanted to add something, Jerry, because you said the lines. We're not talking about these lines. We're talking about the aluminum lines inside the car. The aluminum pipes in the car are thin. They're making everything lighter, right? And you can actually physically bend it or damage it. All right.
That is correct.
So we're going to do a sealant test first, right?
Yes.
I don't remember where that syringe went.
All right. So syringe is here. I set it all up with the syringe already. So you're all ready to put that
Oh,
on?
you already put the
Yeah.
the stuff. I don't have a place to hang it here, but
Right here. This goes like this, the other way. And by the way, be careful with your hose here. Sometimes it gets real soft. You may have to cut the hose and make sure it's tighter. When you're going like this, we got high and low over here. It's going to be a little tough for you to see. Make sure this is backed off because this one screws down. Okay?
Yep.
But we're going to go like this. And we're going to go on the high side. My hand's going to go underneath.
I think it's the other fitting there. There you go.
And I'm going to screw down. The ball should be going up there.
It's not.
The ball did not go up there. I'm all the way down. All right, Murphy's Law. We'll have to put a new bullet in.
So this probably failed a previous test and it got put back in the
kit.
the kit.
This is the little bullet setup here that is stuck in here. I may need probably had some sealant in it. Where's that plier up here? Oh, I got it finally. So this is the little bullet that you can show them. Well, I get a new bullet.
So this is just a, sorry, it's got a little orifice in it so that if there's sealant and you've put a little water in there to react to it and it's got air, it'll harden the sealant. So the ball is supposed to move because there's refrigerant going by it. Not a lot of refrigerant, very small amount. And then if there's sealant, it'll plug this up and that'll tell you you have sealant.
And these are the new ones. So I'm taking a new one out. I got the syringe. I'm going to put a little water in it.
That way I'll wash my hands too, you know.
I'm going to stick this puppy in here. I'm going to make sure it's locked in because we don't want it spraying out at us. So it's locked in. Now I'm going to connect it to the hose. And make sure we turn this back and go on.
That thing's not opening, Jerry. I think it's not, for some reason it's not opening the
hitting
valve.
it, huh?
It's not hitting it.
Yeah, it's not, we're not getting refrigerant.
So like Jerry said, Murphy's Law. But that's it, that's the concept anyway. That's how it works. Something with that is not working right. Bottom line,
How about that? Did that go up?
no. No, it's not moving. I think it's not depressing the Schrader valve.
Yeah, I think this has a different setup.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to contact them.
Bottom line, that's how it works. That's why you want to check it. I guess now we know, that, or we don't know, but we think
Well, we'll
that
throw
this
that
was-
out anyway.
Yeah, because we don't know if it's bad.
All right,
And it looks
so-
pretty tarnished anyway.
The next thing we're gonna do is, you ever wonder if your compressor is working really well or not? Well, there could be quite a few different problems that have prevented it from working well. We already put this in a vacuum, okay? And this is made from AirSep. You can get this from,
I think we're going to have to move this a little closer.
yeah. You can get this from AutoZone. Now let's hope these connectors work.
Yeah.
Oh no, we got plenty. We got
Oh,
plenty.
I thought this wasn't going to
No,
reach.
no, you good.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm putting my hand underneath it. shut this valve off. And the low side.
While he's doing this, of course, this is just like in the shop. If you're showing somebody, it always takes twice as long, right?
All right, we're gonna open the high side up. Let's watch what comes in here. Oh, I can't move that down more. I tell you, this must have different shraders on it that are not gonna work, because look.
Yeah, nothing's moving in this one either.
Well, how this supposed to work?
It's supposed to work in the same way that the other one. It's supposed to show you.
I will have to contact a couple of different companies here, because what's gonna happen here is what should happen is refrigerant should come in here. We would see the oil and stuff. And then as you open the low side up by this valve right here, we would see it suck out. Now that is strange, because these are the same fittings as that machine. Now, is the machine gonna work on it?
Yeah.
Man tooth works.
Yeah. Kind of crazy. They look identical. Got me.
I see dye.
So I'm going to say, like I've said it many other times, technology, ain't it wonderful?
Now see, it had something here.
It felt something. That's strange. All right, he's going to try it one more time.
Yeah, nothing.
Want me to open this one just to see if it'll go?
Yeah, there's nothing.
No, it's not floating. All right, well, that's the concept. Murphy's at work. Murphy was messing with our whole logon earlier, so I think, that's the name of the game here.
Take this all off.
Yep. Try not to do
We
that.
will contact the company and let you know. We will post something on that. Now, when it comes to putting your machine on it, our machine is in a state right here, okay, that where both gauges are down. We're going to want to recover.
Yeah, I can't see that. Reflection.
Yeah, it's reflective.
That's better.
Hold on, let me just put something over it to block the light.
All right.
I know it's
so
harder for Jerry to work, but
we're gonna hit recover, and you got to follow the prompts.
You gotta move your arm.
Okay. So it says recover. I'm going to hit the arrow. Do not connect anything to the car yet. Very important when you're working with this. Come on.
this is what I was talking about
Okay.
earlier. You have to follow the directions exactly.
Now it says refrigerant identification. If external identifier is used, connect to USB port. Do not connect service port hose to the car. Okay. Now we hit checking system pressure. Now each machine is a itsy bit different, but it's going to be something very similar. So we're not connecting our hoses here. Do not put them on the car. This is not 134A. So it'll do that. We have a different machine, a snap-on version as well. Works a little different, but both of them are going to take more time than 134A. Any questions while we're waiting for this thing to do its thing?
For a normal day-to-day, do you use or recommend any safety device between the recovery machine and the valve? And what do you recommend?
Okay, so what I would recommend for safety is that air guard that we went over earlier. You can use your hand, looking good with your hand. It's
Okay.
easier for me to say that you put
Right.
your hand there. All right, it says connect the service hose and open the coupler, blue. It's showing that. You see that? Now, when they mean open, Pierre's going to put his hand underneath and he's going to screw that on. Now, hopefully, these work like the man-tooth ones. For some reason, I'm going to have to contact Aircept and contact Neutronics or MSN.
You do want me to connect turn the valve to
It says connect service hose and open it. That means screw it down to the Schrader.
Okay.
There's our gauge, went up.
So
So these are working.
these
There's
are working
something with
fine.
those ends.
Yeah, there's something different with them.
Okay. Now, you hit the OK button here. And it's going to identify it. If it doesn't see it is 100% pure 1234 YF, it ain't going to go. Notice the gauge, just like Mantooth, is somewhere about 60 something PSI. Point that out, Pierre.
Right here.
Okay. Now the high side is not on because they only want you to connect the low side.
They don't want
so-
us connecting both sides for this step.
And if you do that, I'm going to tell you, you know what's going to happen? You're going to lock your machine out. Do not lock your machine out. Follow step by step, whether you have a Robinair, a Malo, whatever. I've worked on all of them. Follow the machine. Each machine is a bit different. I just got a piece of metal in
You
my
can't just blast through it like we used to do. And you can't skip steps.
No. And by the way, so we got 4 pounds, a little over 4.5 pounds in here. Do not fill the machine up all the way. Why? Because when you try to recover something and you got a full tank, you will not be able to recover. Does that make sense? So always leave room, let's say 3 pounds of room. That way you can do it.
So there's a question here. What do you recommend for someone to learn to read the gauges on the AC machine? And my answer would be get whatever training manual you can find for the MAC certification, the training manuals, the training information, or go to a class like Jerry puts on. But the bottom line is, you know, get information from a reputable source, not
Yeah,
some
you can
guy,
buy.
not YouTube University.
You could buy the Motor Age ASE manuals.
Yeah, there you go.
That are very good. There's some good information in there. We do classes through Dorman Training as well, and there's some great information in there. And gauges are important. We showed you that gauge set earlier, or did we show them the gauge set? No, we haven't
We
shown
may
you
not
that.
have shown the gauge set. Somebody, Skylar said, AirGuard doesn't flag any response on Google or AutoZone.
What happened?
It says AirGuard. Go to AirCept. It may not be the same name anymore.
It's AirSet. I was just on his website. I know Aaron Becker, who owns the company.
Go to AirCept.
Go to AirCept, but if you go to AutoZone, they sell it.
Right.
All right, let's stop there for a second. Look at this. Look what this says right here.
Where? Okay.
Right in the screen. Purity 100% air 0.8. Cost. I told you, I bet I don't have a full charge in there. So cost is going to be air. So my next step is hitting this, put this on and open the high side coupler.
And then we'll show
Well,
them.
it doesn't matter. Here's what you're going to look at. He's putting the red side on.
Okay, and
Watch
I'm
the
opening
gauge.
it, and you'll watch the gauge move.
Now look, both of them are roughly about the same pressure. That tells you there is no clog. So that question the guy had about the gauges, right? What you need to remember is if the system has not been running, and this cooled down pretty quick, it moved evenly. It is roughly going to be the pressure that should be equal on both gauges.
Sorry, there was a question about showing this, except I'm not getting it off. It's
Okay,
Velcro.
I'll get it.
So
So that is a biggie, making sure that they are both about the same. And the temperature under the hood of the car is roughly going to be about 65, 70 degrees.
So it's AirCept, but it actually says Recycle Guard.
Right.
It
They're
used
the
to-
only ones that make it.
That's the right.
This is, so what you do is, you see these connectors here? This is a dual guard. They have a single guard. That means only one side. Dual guard, you put your red and your high side here. These connect to the car. This little petcock here, when you get sealant in there, you crack this baby You crack this baby open, it's kind of stuck. Probably
Unless
even a
it's-
plier. And this does unscrew. There's filters in here. We've lucked out. I was just speaking to,
The
I
other
was
way.
on a
Yep. Yeah, there you go.
Max meeting, and they asked me a question. We've cleaned this out, and the filter in here, they do sell replacements. The cartridge opens up. Okay, so this unscrews.
The idea is that all of
And you
that,
see these? We've cleaned these filters.
How do you clean it?
We used brake clean on them, but they are replaceable. They do sell them. So I had no clue until I was on that meeting.
bottom line,
I thought it was a one.
you want that sealant here and not there.
You bet. We have these on all our machines. It's worth the money. Again, AutoZone does sell them. AutoZone sells a whole bunch of AirSep stuff. So get it for your machine, save your machine. All right, so right now we're gonna hit enter. The high side is open. Make sure the hoses are connected to the vehicles and the valves are open. Open,
They are.
open means they're down clockwise. There's nothing, I'm just telling you what you're looking
So
at, okay?
for those looking at the gauges that don't know what they're looking at, the low side gauge has a finer scale and doesn't go to as much pressure because the high side is going to have more pressure. So in this case, there's kind of a gradated scale on the low side. It goes to 120 and all of a sudden it shows 350 at the top with no gap, where the high side goes from 0 to 100 here and very slowly goes up to 800, which is gigantic.
And both of them show you in vacuum 30 inches of vacuum. Now the other thing here, it's recovering. We're at 0.37 or so. Another thing I want you to make note of, very, very important. Your machine may, when it comes to adding refrigerant, some machines you need to RTFI, read the frickin' info, may say each 96-inch hose, you have to add 2 ounces of refrigerant. Another big mistake I see people do, the charge is totally in, they're not reading the machine, they disconnect it.
And they close the valve.
Don't do that. Read what it tells you. Usually it'll let you keep open the low side, so when you start it up, it sucks the extra refrigerant out of the hoses. Does that make sense to everyone?
Something I've done for most of my career, but now, it has to tell you that because that's in the calibration of this thing now.
So this is a digital vacuum meter. Get that gauge set here. I'll put this on. How do you know your vacuum pump is good? Oh, it's good, it's 5 CFMs or whatever. Well, that may be true, but is it really going down and pulling a good vacuum? This is a tool that checks that out, okay? And I can't read without my glasses on. It's a, what is it called?
Wait a minute, I have the safety glasses on, but not my reading glasses on. This is what happens when you're old. What do you want to know?
It's like a micron gauge.
It's a micron gauge, basically. This is a VG200 is the model number on it.
So that'll tell you if your vacuum pump's really pulling a good vacuum, okay? Now here, this is a gauge set that we use for 1234YF. We also have one. Why do we want this? That guy who asked about gauges, well, if I put my machine on there, I'm screwed.
You have to do the whole process.
Right? But if I put this to my vacuum pump, and notice my gauges are not in a vacuum here, let's put this in a vacuum here. Let's show them how to do it. We're going to go over to the vacuum pump. Let's even test the pump out and show what this pump can do or can't do.
Because that's that? Okay. I got this.
And I think we got to plug this thing in.
No, I plugged it in before.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to see how, well, maybe we're going to see how. It ain't doing it, is it? Maybe that's the screw onto here.
Yeah, so the thing about vacuum pumps, yeah, it was this fitting.
Okay, we put this cap back on. You can put that hose back on there. Okay, so we're gonna check
Actually,
our
I'm just
vacuum pump.
capping this, so we're good.
Yeah, okay, so we're putting this on. I can't tell if that's on for you.
Why am I not tightening?
There you go. All right, put the baby on.
There we go.
All right, so what we're doing, we're gonna see how this vacuum pump that is made by FJC, it is, I think, a 5 CFM. It's a good pump, but we're gonna see if it's pulling it. Don't forget that you need good vacuum pump oil. The oil must be replaced every once in a while. If the reading is good, in 2 minutes or less, we should be at 100 microns. In 2 minutes or less, we should be down to 100 microns. So I am timing it. It is 8:05. Wow. We're at 37,000 microns. If that is correct. I can't see in that gauge without glasses. Here's the light. What's it say?
283.65. I don't see a decimal point.
Supposed to have a light.
Unless it was zeroed to something that was already there.
Oh, what's it say? It's units, not lights. I can't even see that close.
Hold on. You know us old blind guys?
Sorry, two old guys here. All right, so we got to be in microns.
Yeah. There's microns.
Right there?
Yeah. Oops.
Oh, there you go.
You went past it.
Oh. Millibar. Can't see what the hell
Tor.
that says. What's that say?
Tor or something like that. Microns.
All right, and that's 3,900?
39,000.
39,000.
Yeah. Is this thing still working or did it shut down? I think this thing's shut down.
There you go, there you go.
We got a crappy connection here. Hold on.
What was it saying?
This plug is. I'm gonna hold it down. Here's my phone for the light. Sorry about that, folks. You know Murphy? Murphy's
All right, it's sucking it down. So we
Murphy's-
got 2 minutes, 8:07. We're down to 6,800, Pierre. We got to be down to 1,000. We're down to 2,500. 17, 14, under 1,000, 930, 8 something. So this pump is kicking butt. Okay, this is a good pump. It did it in less than a minute. So this is how you tell if your vacuum gauge is good or not. Very good, Pierre.
I'm gonna let this go and it's
Yep.
gonna die because we have a crappy plug in our light there. Yeah.
And by the way, when you hook your gauge up, we can undo this.
Yep. I got it.
Now this gauge set, we will,
Oh, you want to show vacuum on that?
yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go in that side one. I think that
Yep.
is a Schrader.
Yep.
So that is a way to check your pump. Is your pump doing good? Now look at these gauges. Notice we're not down into a vacuum. I'm gonna open these up.
Wait a minute. I have to do the plug thing here.
You sure it's just not spreading the? Yeah, put it on.
No, it's
Now look at that. We went right down into a vacuum immediately. All right. Now once you're all the way down in a vacuum, we can shut these off.
and see if the fittings are leaking.
And by the way, fittings do leak. We always buy new ends. They do go bad.
And that's another one of those places. Don't buy that really cheap one online, that the white box special.
And now we can shut that off and we'll take a look at this. You know, right now it's down to that. We'll leave it over here for a bit and we'll see what the machine is up to. Now it says draining oil. I always do this. I take a piece of painter's tape and I see if it goes over that line,
I
because
don't
what
think
happens,
That's blocked by stuff, but
I
you'll
can-
have to trust us that he did that.
there we go. There you go. So I like keeping a piece of painter's tape around. The bottle is marked, but what happens when oil goes in a bottle? Now here's another important fact to know. That oil, do not mix it with your waste oil unless you have a waste oil burner. Why? That bottle has to go, that oil has to go in a special bottle that is refrigerant oil and gets a different manifest. So in the back, we have a bottle back there that says AC oil, and we give it to Safety Clean and they give us a separate manifest. If you mix it, you could be paying a lot of money. So you don't want to do that. So right now, it looks like enter the amount of recovery. There was nothing, no oil, so I'm going to put 0. I'm going to hit enter. It says complete refrigerant recovered, 1 pound 04.
And it was supposed to be 1 pound, almost 2. It was
Right.
supposed to be 1 pound, 1.7 ounces.
So this was short,
Right.
okay?
By over an ounce.
So now watch. We will put, since we can do some other stuff, we'll do vacuum. And I'm just going to put 15 minutes. You really should do a minimal of 30, okay?
I like
A minimal
45
of 30.
personally.
45, but these new machines and 1234Y of 30 will be okay if you got a good machine. So we'll do some slides while it's doing its thing. There'll be a little noise in the background. There will be after this a mandatory 10-minute when we do the charge. And again, what did Mantooth show us? Mantooth showed us there was a problem. Okay? I wish I had the ends for that work. That really ticks me. Okay, now let's talk about control panels and air distribution. The control unit is either mechanical, okay, oop, get back there. Mechanical, vacuum, or electrically operated units that allow the driver to regulate temperature and intensity, select air distribution mode, or change the blower motor speed. Typically, there are 3 basic types of units. They're either mechanical/vacuum, like this old stuff, a combination mechanical and vacuum like this, or fully electronic. And by the way, when it comes to fully electronic, you will see basically, because there's a sun load sensor, there's inside temperature sensors in the vehicle, there are NTCs, negative temperature coefficients, high voltage, high temperature when it's cold and low when it's hot, okay? That basically is gonna calculate everything. So if you get in a car and it's 100 degrees, let's say 80 degrees outside, in your car is probably 120. And if you're a dummy and you move to Arizona with a black BMW with black interior,
Or Florida.
or any car, any, it doesn't have to be a BMW, you just want to get Pierre back, okay? For empathy, whatever, who cares?
Enthalpy, yeah.
See, you got me again. At any rate, doesn't matter, because that black interior is going to take a lot more. It could be 140 in that car. Now remember, that it is a 30-degree difference. Our body is 98.6 degrees. So you may be, and this happened to me, I've been in Phoenix, Arizona, 118, 120, 116. You're lucky you get 70-something degrees out of the duct. Could it be colder? Sure.
But there's nothing wrong with that car.
Nothing wrong with it. And if you see how the actual automatic temperature control works, what is it going to do? It lets outside air, you're not on max AC in the beginning. Why? Because it's cooler outside than in.
And you have to get, the sun was acting like a greenhouse on that car with the windows.
You bet.
You got to blow that out.
And it's changing the air out with a high-speed fan. Once it starts cooling, then you hear the doors close from outside. It's on recirculation. Recirculated air shuts everything from the outside off, and now your fan speed is going to drop that's where you're going to get the coldest temperature.
Right.
Okay?
Otherwise, you're trying to heat. If you got outside air, you're trying to AC. You're trying to cool 120 degree air. Crazy. Anyway, there was a question: is PAG oil hygroscopic?
Yes, PAG oil is hygroscopic. And by the way, PAG, do not use PAG on the seals. And you don't want to put it on your hand. It's polyalkaline. It's like an acid base.
It's caustic.
You want to basically take the vacuum pump oil that you buy for your machine. It's usually more than what you need. Do not use that oil once it's open because moisture goes in it. It could be used for seals. Now, POE oil, polyester oil, is better to add to a system because if you use a PAG oil, even with a dye in it, in an electrified compressor, whether it be hybrid or EV, you will have an issue with an isolation fault. Older vehicles, an isolation fault in the AC may shut the whole vehicle down. Newer ones just shut the AC system off. You don't want to tick a customer off on a 90-degree day and their air condition went off and they're going to the office or a wedding. They're all dressed up. They're going to come back pretty PO'd.
Yeah,
right?
they'll be steaming even
They'll
if they
be steaming.
weren't. If they're in AC.
Yeah. So how many minutes we got left on up here? Can you tell? 10?
It is 10 minutes and
Okay,
36
good.
seconds.
So refrigerant identification, we'll find out why that didn't work. And by the way, that connector is pretty expensive. That is shocking to me that it did not work. But I will figure that and post it up on the TST and Motor Rage website. So this kit last year was hard to get. They are available. Check your AutoZone store. An identifier, you could buy a separate one. A quick story, this company, CPS, they sold machines to Ferrari. Ferrari did not want the identifier in it. So, okay, CPS sold them the machine and said, don't forget, you need an identifier. Well, a little time went by and Ferrari called CPS and says, hey, your machines are not taking a refrigerant out of our vehicles. So they look it up, they go, you bought the ones without the identifier. Did you buy an identifier? What do we need that for? It's our cars. Well, that's the law. The machine will not work without it. So they were a little PO'd, but guess what? That's where they should have followed the rules and read the ruling. Now, most of the new machines, when you see a machine, if you're new to the business and you're trying to buy a machine and you see one for $5,000 versus one for $9,000, it don't have an identifier.
Something's got to give.
Yeah, and an outside identifier will cost you bucks, right? We have,
And it's just a little more awkward to use. I mean, they work great, but you know, why not have it as part of the machine?
yeah, you can get one like this or one picture there. We got both of them. Again, another Neutronics type of unit. This does all the refrigerants. A question asked, will this do blends? Well, if the blend, excuse me, if the blend has a fingerprint to it, because they're all a carbon base, it's basically a gas analyzer. They could make a fingerprint on it to see what's what. But remember the big thing, just like this, air. That is going to cause this car, and we're not going to do a lot longer vacuum tonight, even though it's my car. I'll just bring it in a different day, and I'll put this thing on for 45 plus minutes. But I'm going to put CO2 in it to see if I have a leak, okay? Because maybe, but my experience is they short them 2 ounces, okay?
So there's a question. What do you recommend with a vehicle that takes longer to close off from the outside air?
Takes longer to close off from the outside air with automatic temperature control?
You know,
Well, that may be a sensor issue.
it depends on the car, obviously, and it depends on the conditions.
Right.
What if you have a car with a black dashboard and a black interior and it was cooking in the sun and there's a lot of radiant heat? I would look and scan data and see what the temperature sensors, all of the heating
What they're
sensors say.
saying.
Because if some of them look, or one of them looks unreasonable, it's hard to determine that, you know. But if it looks unreasonable, like Jerry said, a sensor problem. But what if it's just got a lot of heat soak in it?
Yeah, could have a lot of heat soak. And let's not forget, some vehicles, the sealing on things are not good.
So that's the other thing. What if
What's the year of the car?
What if you're on your scan tool and it says it did close the recirc flap,
But it didn't do it.
but it didn't actually do it?
That'll be a problem.
You know, I had my daughter was out in Washington State years ago, and somebody put a windshield in Portland, Oregon. You know, you would think they know what rain's about.
I remember
And
that.
You remember that. And it wasn't exactly a blend air problem, but it actually created a problem with one of the vent flaps, or the air flaps. But they broke the little trim piece that goes under the windshield wipers. And they said, you know, that's only cosmetic. And she had water in the car.
Nah, that's what'll happen.
And I mean, I fixed it by FaceTime from New York. And well,
You know,
actually,
Euro cars love water. That's what I have to say.
right. I mean, we didn't really fix it from New York. I had her put duct tape over the broken part to fix it.
Every good mechanic has duct tape.
But the bottom line is this: every one of those pieces is important, whether it's the plastic stuff under the windshield or any flaps or any diverter pieces. You know, they didn't spend their money on those pieces because they were unnecessary.
That's correct. All right, safety, safety, safety. Goggles, clear goggles that you see us wearing, okay? Yellow goggles to help you with the black light. That is important. Now, here's all the sealant stuff. So when I'm teaching all around, I go into different parts stores, or I go into, you know, a big box store, a Walmart or whatever, and look at these things with dye and sealant in it, okay? Sealant will eat your lunch, okay? So you need to check for it. How
Okay.
many of you out there have a sealant detector? Type in the letter S. Type in the letter S. What do we got there?
There's two questions. Well, one's a comment. I had one not identify, and it was one of those eco replacements that can be purchased online. Is this true for all machines? Specifically, this was an eco version of 134A.
Well, if it is a refrigerant that the company has not plugged in, and what do I mean by plugged in? You know, they got R12, 22, 13, 134A, 1234YF, 152A. If it's something new and it's not in there, it will come up unidentifiable. Anything that's unidentifiable, you do not put in your machine. That is called air condition aids. So once it's in your tank and you connect to other vehicles, that is the beauty with 1234YF. The machine will not allow you to put it in. 134A, there's a lot of that. Now, one thing we're not showing you is a scavenger machine. And basically, when you get into these new blends coming out to do retrofits, and I told you the 20th, the 15th of July, the roundtable, we will have Steve Shaban on from Max. We will have 2 different refrigerant companies. You're gonna need to buy yourself a new bottle to recover the refrigerant in. You're gonna need to buy yourself a scale, a gauge set with those connectors that you gotta retrofit the fittings to. And you're gonna need a machine that is recovery only. So you're looking at probably spending near $1,000. Way cheaper than buying a whole new machine again, right? I mean, one machine we have here, a Snap-on machine, is $14,000. This machine is about $8,000, $9,000, okay? That's a lot of money. So, you know, as a business owner, do I want to spend that much money? No. So I already have one that I use to recover mixed refrigerants. I will get one for each one of those refrigerants. You got 444A, 445B, 152A, 744. There's a bunch of stuff out there. So be aware, and we'll cover that, not covering it much here.
So the question is there always a little leak by the shaft seal on a compressor?
Ay, ay, ay. Now, I'm going to give you something. If you work on Hondas and on Acuras, number one parasitic draw problem is the AC relay, okay? If you put a new relay in and it's still lighting up like a Christmas tree with our thermal imaging works really well okay? I would suggest you sell that customer a new compressor and receiver dryer. And you go, why? I can put new seals in. This is not the old York or Tecumseh compressors or the good old A6s or the V compressor. That these things were big. I have a whole rebuilding kit. I used to rebuild compressors. Do not try to do the seal. You know why? The guy didn't have a refrigerant leak. You move that, it's not a bearing in there. It's like a race piece. So you disturb it, this puppy is gonna leak. I would not recommend doing anything. And to check for a leak, here's the clutch. Where's that compressor?
Yeah, here it is.
You would do something like this. Take a piece of paper, go down in there like this. You see what I'm doing? And if that piece of paper comes up wet, you got a shaft seal leak. Okay?
And it needs a compressor.
And needs a compressor. Do not try to change them. Yes, they sell them, but you know what? Murphy's Law, you're not going to be happy when the customer comes back. And here we make everyone sign the RO. You will still get a cranky dude. Oh, I didn't know you told me to sign. I didn't know what you told me to sign.
And by the way, not the $89 compressor with the white box, you know. All right.
A good setup here, like AutoZone. This is a good compressor from Four Seasons.
So
Brand new.
the answer was it ended up being a combo of butane and propane. Oh my.
Well, that's where,
And it's under the name of EnviroSafe. Oh, that's a great name for the wrong stuff.
Someone wants to know, how do you safely remove sealer from a system?
that's the air sept.
That's the but if
Oh,
it's,
if it's already in the system.
if it's already in the system and
let's
air has
talk
gotten
about that idiot Jim who ruined my machines years
if
back.
it's already in the system and the system has been emptied and air is in there, the
You're
whole
done.
system is ruined. Every part, compressor, condenser, evaporator, lines, you name it, all ruined.
Your machine
No.
system?
And when you go to put it in your machine got ruined.
The car, every component that he's talking about with the vehicle, if there's sealant in there, you're going to have to replace it.
And there's air with moisture. If the
No fixing.
so here's what happens.
It's
Somebody-
epoxy.
So, yeah, it's terrible. So they have a little leak. It was a hose. They kept putting this stuff in with more sealant because, like Jerry said, more is better, right?
And guys, just like stop leak in a radiator doesn't work, hell no.
And so
Come
the
on,
hose
fix it
now
right.
the hose now blows the rest of the way. Every component in that entire air conditioning system is toast. Imagine if that's on a modern hybrid or EV vehicle and it gets
Thousands.
into the battery pack.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Do not use, tell your customers, you know, we're the ambassadors out there speaking to customers, right? Tell them, do not put that in. It does more harm than good. Please don't do that.
Oh, and it was very flammable. LOL.
Yeah, but
yeah, no kidding.
let me say this. If it's 100% a hydrocarbon, which the identifier will tell you it's a hydrocarbon, won't tell you what type it is, butane or whatever, that don't matter. If it's 100% hydrocarbon, you could carefully remove it to the air. You do not need to recover that. If it is mixed refrigerants with the hydrocarbon in it, you need, like I have, a tank. We charge a customer an extra fee for that, okay? And then that goes to a reclamation center. Very, very important. Okay, so this went down, it's complete. Let's pop back to this so we don't keep you here all night. We're going on 2 hours already. We're gonna hit charge. Now watch this. You're only gonna get 15% of a charge. Now we're gonna have to plug the amount in. I'm gonna let Pierre do that with his glasses on, because God knows I won't hit the right buttons. Yeah, hit the green button. And it's gonna ask you how much.
Didn't like my fingertip for some reason.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta just hit it again. Like that.
There you go.
All right, now it's purging air. Now, if you guys still have some of the old machines, no 1234YF machine is manual purged. You may have your older machine for 134A. Make sure you purge air out. So now it is purging. It says the current pressure it was at 100
Current pressure,
something.
and now it's down to 99.3.
It
but
wants
the
to go to
target,
98.
right? Target is 98.
So I don't know if you hear that hissing. That's not Pierre with the beans he ate earlier. Okay.
It is making sure that there's no air in the system.
Now we got 5 pounds in here now, so enough to charge the car. But it's going to come up, and we're going to charge from the high and low side, so it does it quick. All right. Does the system have utilize a high voltage? No. Then it's going to ask me if it has. Oh, here's the service port. We're going to go high, but we got to put the amount in. Now, we could switch it in pounds, so it wants it in pounds.
It is in pounds.
So we're going to leave it there.
So we want to put in it was 1.67, right?
Yeah.
Is that what I said? Wait a minute.
Pierre's going to check his calculator. I think you did say that.
Yeah. 1.637, so it's 1.64. So one.
That's 4.
Can I go back?
Delete.
1.
Point.
Is there a point? 6.4. Got it.
Now we're going to go from both sides.
Yep.
We're going to hit enter.
Because if you do it from the low side only, it takes a lot longer.
Now it says, make sure hoses are connected to the vehicle and valves are open. They are.
I'll double check.
Pierre's going to double check.
Yes,
Valves
they are.
open. Going to hit the green arrow. Notice we're in a vacuum, 30 inches on both. Now it's doing a mandatory 9 minutes and 51 seconds left. So this is going to take 10 minutes. I'm going to go back to the slides. Okay? So next we have here, look what sealant does. Look at this. This is also mixed with Black Death. What's Black Death? When a compressor grenades, it starts ripping the hose up and sealant will pull it off. Look at the gook here with sealant. Look at the hose here from an AC machine. Look at the switch, all sealant up.
It ruins everything.
And look at that orifice tube. You're talking big money problems. Big.
Yeah.
Do not put that junk in, and please tell customers do not buy it. And here's the way you could save your machine. Got this right off the AirSep site and sold through AutoZone. Get the dual guard. Dual guard means you do both sides. They do sell for a lesser price. The single guard. Now, this is my old one here. They do make a newer one. This burns the PEG oil out. You see the electric wire? Why don't I want that? Well, my machine may have PEG in the recovery tank. Why? Because some of the oil is not all going to go into that waste bottle. Some will go in there. And if there's PEG in there, one eye drop, you would have to replace. This is according to manufacturers of electric vehicles and hybrids, every component in that system. One eye drop. So what do you want to do? You want to use that to burn it off. You don't want to take that chance. You know, when we did compressors on electric vehicles, they start at like $3,200.
Yeah, they're serious money.
They're serious money. So please,
and the
do
reason
yourself a favor.
The reason why it's such a problem is because you end up with an isolation fault. These things are running at high voltage, and you can't have an electric. It's just like with the electric drivetrains themselves. You cannot have an electrical problem in that system. It's dangerous.
Extremely.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here. So there is our separate stuff here. You can buy the dye mixture. Again, I recommend the oil. Use the hybrid EV oil only in there. Do not put PAG in that. I showed you ours before. And use a mixture of oil and dye. No more than how many ounces? Type it in. No more than how many ounces should you put in? And remember, it's through the low side with the air conditioning system running. The system is on when you're doing that. This is not like 134A when you're in a vacuum. Good.
First answer is 2. Yeah. There's a question. What about Robinair, the Robinair that does the system flush?
Oh, I knew you would do that. They all do hose flush.
Right.
Now, I have Robinair machines as well. So I changed hoses. I flushed the hoses 4 times. There was still oil. The hose flush is minimal what it'll do. You want to risk a $30-something $100 compressor or a whole system that may cost you $10,000, $15,000? Not me. I'm going to use this. These things may cost you, I think this is a few $100. This may be $500, $600. Isn't that worth it? Isn't that worth it? You know, $200, $300, $500, $600. You know that old saying, it takes money to make money. Why did you buy a box end wrench when an open end wrench did it? Why did you buy a socket? Why did you buy an air gun? Why did you buy an electric gun? To make your life easier, right? Why do you have multiple scan tools? Because not everything does it. You got to spend money.
Or it may just be a matter of counting footsteps, and you want one on this side of the shop and one on that side of the shop.
Question again, Pierre.
How can you tell if the proper amount of oil is in the system?
Oh, now that's a toughie. Too much oil in the system is a problem. You cannot tell how much. Now, if the AirSep thing worked, I was going to show you that, and you could go back and look at some of my other videos. This is the first car I've come across where it didn't work on. I've had this on my other GM, my Denali truck, which was only a couple of years old. It worked perfect. My Chevy Bolt, it worked perfect. That was a couple of years old as well. I'm not sure why it's not working on this one. Sometimes there are different fittings. I remember older GMs, you needed this extension stupid thing. But I don't know. The hoses from the machine
I
work.
think the answer is Murphy. Murphy was at work from the beginning today, and here we are.
I don't know. Okay.
So vacuum leak check. It's doing. You know, it's finishing its vacuum. It's got four and change, 5 minutes to go.
And then how much is it going to put in? Not the 1.6 something that Pierre put in. Oh no, it ain't going to do that. It is going to put in 15% of a charge. Then we're going to take this detector
without dropping the box on the floor, and we're going to go inside the car.
We're going to put this on. The top part here is for 134A. The lowest is the smallest, the longest, smallest sensitivity, but that's 134 up top. We're going down to 1234 YF, and we're going to look for a 3 gram a year leak. 27 grams make an ounce. 3 grams a year, that is a small ass leak. Okay, so we're going to put this with the air coming out of the floor duct. Pierre's going to have this on the floor like this. The fan on low, the vehicle not running, the air conditioner is not on, the pressure is going to be high. If this thing starts going, wah, 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 we got a problem.
Got a leak.
Okay.
But we're not charged.
We're not there yet.
We're not charged yet.
Okay. So let's move on here. Let's talk about this Max
I didn't want to listen to
system
that, sorry.
engine preheat procedure. So engine preheat for refrigerant removal procedure. The following procedure will aid in refrigerant removal when the work area is cool and J2210 and J1732 recovery equipment is being used. In general, if the work area is warmer than 90 Fahrenheit, this procedure is not required, but sometimes it is. Our shop is air conditioned, so it's usually an issue. Recovery equipment to J2788, 2810, 2843, 2851, 3030 do not require this pre-warming procedure. But if you come across where your machine is still having a problem pulling it, do this.
The idea is to heat up the stuff inside there so that it can that you don't have puddling of the refrigerant, basically.
AC system controlled compressor clutch off. Turn clutch off or remove electrical connection. Set panel system controls outside air, not max. High fan speed airflow panel outlets. On automatic temperature control, set the temperature mid-range. Check to make sure system is on. Outside air, drawing air from the vehicle cowl in the inlet area. The next part, vehicle hood open to allow warm air to enter the cowl inlet to the AC system. Operate in idle condition, neutral park with park and brake applied dependent on the engine compartment temperature. Run the engine to warm up the AC components for 15 minutes. After idling the engine for 15 minutes, hot condition, stop the engine, turn the ignition to the on position, allow operation of the AC fan high, system on outside air when activable, operation of the electrical engine coolant fan to circulate air in the engine compartment. Do not change any controls or conditions listed in step 1 and 2 above. The recovery process. When the refrigerant recovery is complete, including the required 5-minute recheck, that means it checks to see if any pressure went up. It waits at least 5 minutes and may do a recovery. System refrigerant outgassing. The oil holds the refrigerant, and when it's cold, like in this receiver dryer or accumulator, okay, what happens is this freezes up. What you're doing is using the heat from the engine compartment to make this thing cool down and unfreeze.
And bubble all that refrigerant out of the oil.
You bet. Okay.
All right, this
So
thing
here
is
it's still on
30
leak check.
seconds away from the end of this
Now,
vacuum check.
Thermal imager. To the left, the compressor is off. The bright colors mean you got heat. This was on a Ram truck. This is the grill. Look when the compressor is on. Now, if we had a clog, you see these little lines going down? That's where the refrigerant's going through. The rest of this is the heat sink. That's that little metal stuff that...
That's so busted on that.
like
condenser.
this.
Yeah, there you go.
That's this junk.
After it has decomposed, been affected by whatever.
Yeah, a little accordion. Hello.
Yeah.
How are you?
Usually corrosion, could be impact, could be vibration, could be whatever. It's no good.
An approximate 40 to 50 degree temperature drop across the condenser is normal on many vehicles. You should check. Sometimes that does change depending on the year, but 40 to 50 degree drop is somewhere in the normal range. Use, again, we're going to go over this. You need to use a 2913, must be able to look for a 3 gram per year at the highest sensitivity. So now we're almost, look at this. Let's look at this. Leak check. Leak check. Perform interior check by 1. AC system blower motor to low. AC switch to off. AC distribution, air distribution, set to the floor position. Insert SAE 2930 compliant detector set to a maximum sensitivity of the floor duct unit. Now, he's going to put this in there.
I want to show you on the camera here because Jerry already showed you.
We're equal.
I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to cycle through until I get to the highest sensitivity of the white, right?
Yeah, the white, the bottom.
And you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing in the car, but you'll have to trust I'm following those directions.
And again, look at, while Pierre is doing that, remember, off, we have equal pressures here. You got about 60 and 60. So that indicates to me we do not have a clog in the condenser or the evaporator or expansion or capillary tube areas, okay? That is important. If you have any questions, stick it in there. Someone likes Robin Air. We have a lot. I've had some problems, like with everything. It's okay. You buy what works for you and what you like. If you guys are thinking this webinar is helpful, let us know. Do I have a favorite AC machine? It's hard to say. I have a few different brands. Some are better than others on certain things. What basically works is what you like, right? That is important. So as he's there beeping.
So the beeping you hear is just normal background beep, and I've got it set as per the instructions down on the floor, low speed and so forth. And I've got the probe right near the vent or the outlet for the floor.
And remember, he does that for 5 minutes. And if there's no leak, he's ready to roll. Now, again, that's a liability thing on your end. If you're a shop owner, you definitely need that, okay? I would not recommend, skipping over that and going, I ain't gonna buy that. That's ridiculous. You definitely need it. I'll look to see if there's any questions.
Now, there's nothing to say that you have to stay in the car for the whole 5 minutes. If
Well,
you put a
we
timer on your
appreciate you
phone,
hanging with us for over a couple hours. You know, one other thing as we're waiting, another way leak detection, I want to show you this. This is ultrasound. So you put this on, there's a little bar graph here, and you listen for a leak. Years back, I have a more expensive unit than this, but this unit is about $500. You can still buy these. You see the headset? You put the headset on, connects to the side of this, and you see how those bars went up with my bad breath? Okay. Well, when it picks up any type of problem, my daughter years back, she had an evaporator problem on her car, a real small leak, could not find dye, yada, yada, yada. Make a long story short, Sierra had this little leak, and what I did, I put nitrogen at the time I was using, and I took my bigger unit, and that one connects to a lab scope. I graphed it out, and it was flatline, and when I put it near the evaporator hose, thing went crazy. I removed all the refrigerant, flatline, put it, well, not refrigerant, nitrogen, put nitrogen back in, took the whole thing apart. Oh, there was dye. There was dye with pine needles and leaves all stuck in there. And of course, I had to take the stupid dash apart, which I hate doing, but you got to do what you got to do, right? So that is another form of leak detection. Our partner here, you know, Motor Age, and of course our sponsor, AutoZone, giving us the time so we can give you a decent education in AC, especially 1234YF. The more you know, the better you are. Oop, I must have clicked this thing here. Let's go back. Here's where we're on right now. This was the screenshot. This is what we're using, the 2913 leak detector. Very, very important to do that. And Pierre is just about done. It's almost
yeah, we
5
got
minutes.
about a minute plus left to go.
Now here, this is all data, and it says AC blow in warm or poor performance. This is a TSB. I'll blow it up so you can kind of see it better. And it gives you a bunch of stuff right there. It'll tell you what to do. Customer may comment that their AC blows warm or that they have poor AC performance. Okay? And it tells you what to look for. Have the following information available. Okay? So information is super, super important. The man tooth, this is what the kit looks like. It does 134A and 1234YF. And that is really a nice setup right there. I'm going to just shut my tablet
And
off
another
here.
20 seconds or so, and then we're good here.
Yep. All right, so I'm going to hit the green arrow here. A little tough to see the green arrow right here.
All right. So
All right.
I stopped it.
So it says, was a leak found?
No,
Can you
no
see
leak
that?
was found.
So no leak is found, no. So now it's going to go, does the system have an auxiliary rear evaporator? Pierre and I discussed that. That may be a limo or a bigger vehicle.
Right.
So we're going to say no. And then it's going to say charging selected, 1.6 pounds. Now, don't touch the machine. If you bump into the machine, you may just change the charge.
You'll jiggle the scale.
You jiggle the scale and you'll be wiggling down the road. Not good. So try not to do that. The charge will go in. Will be done in a few minutes.
So that picture that you're seeing there is the whole man tooth system as it comes in the box.
Oh, you know, we probably should put the man tooth on and see the difference.
We can't do it till this is done.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah,
we're on
can't-
the ports.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could do that as long as everybody wants to wait the extra time. Because, yeah, we've kind of kept you here a while, haven't we?
Yeah, over 2 hours. almost 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Who would have thought? Well, air conditioning, right? Any other questions while we're waiting? I'm going to go read them.
And do you guys want to hang around and see the difference in the chart or not really? We'll leave it up to you.
Yep.
If you guys want us to do it, we'll do it. You don't want us to do it, we won't do it.
I have a why.
Okay?
Yeah, I saw that comment. Been doing it since 1976. Well, congratulations. You're
Hey,
Well-
somebody wants to know what refrigerant changes are on the way in the horizon.
Okay, we went over, there's going to be a lot of different refrigerants. You want to go to the TST roundtable coming up. It's free, July 15th. Okay? And go to tstseminars.org for that information. We'll have that posted up soon. And you'll find out from companies that are doing it.
Is there a handout for this?
Gee,
Yeah.
where's the handout?
The handout's on the screen there, and the handout is on the website.
So you go to the tstseminars.org website.
Did you
And-
post it, G? You have it in,
It's there on the desktop. I can
okay,
post
you
it again.
I will post the
So here's a comment. So you verified that the evaporator was not leaking and made the machine happy. What about the rest of the system? That's not true. It is important. And what we did was we did the whole vacuum and small 15% pressure test to confirm that it wasn't leaking. The only way to find other leaks would be to, especially if they're outside and you have wind in your shop, would be to basically get it at the same temperature a day later or something, because you can use this electronic detector anywhere around the car and you may find it, but if you have any kind of breeze in the shop, it's going to be, you know, that leak might waft away from the detector. What about a leak that's, you know, near the some part of the condenser that you can't reach through the grill? You're not, I mean, you can use the detector, and it's not a bad idea if you suspect a leak. If you've just done a service because you had a bad compressor, you changed the compressor, you now leak check the rest of the system, you had a charge in it when you did the compressor, you're not really looking for that level of trouble. On the other hand, if you found sealant and the system's flaky and it had a third of a charge in it, oh yeah, you probably have to do your due diligence and test everything else the best you can. And the ultimate test is, does it hold pressure? Maybe keep that car overnight, put it in a bay that's not in front of a heater or something like I said, a breeze, and you're gonna have to charge your customer for that extra time.
Okay, one of the things we do, you see this bottle here? This is a CO2 bottle. We would remove all the refrigerant besides doing that leak check. Remember, refrigerant's heavier than air, so you take the leak detector and you're under all of the piping. Now, we take all the refrigerant out, put full CO2 in it, run the vehicle. First, we check for a leak of CO2 with the system off, just like you did with the refrigerant. Low side will always be higher with the compressor not running. With CO2 in there, yes, the compressor will run, yes, it'll get cold, okay, and you check for a leak. It's a smaller molecule. We said you go with the ATS Bullseye leak detector, you spray the foam. You could see if you go to our TST Seminars channel on YouTube, TST SEMINARS channel, you'll see a bunch of stuff that we've put up there, all free. We're not trying to make money off anyone. This works the best. When we didn't put 200 PSI in there and the compressor didn't run, you don't know if you had a problem. I remember my one guy, Franklin, he had a Honda in, yeah, he found the leak at the condenser. He sold the guy a condenser and a receiver dryer. Yeah, that's great. when he went to start it up, the compressor didn't work. Now, if he would have checked it with enough CO2 in it, he wouldn't have to go back to the customer, and the customer's like, well, I don't know if I would have fixed it. That's $500 more, and they get all cranky at you, right? That way you can tell them all at once. And what do? You do not recover, write this down, you do not recover the CO2 into your air conditioning machine.
No, it's just CO2, you let it out.
You let it out. And that question before, too much oil, we have a shop down the road that loves putting too much oil in. If that sight glass thing would have worked, I would show you what we're talking about. Look, you could also see those Dorman Lunch and Learns, and go to the YouTube channel at TST. You'll see me using that and how it works. If you got debris in there, you got too much oil. So what happens if you have too much oil? You open that valve up. Give me that gauge set here. You're gonna put it into a clean rag.
By the way, just to shine this, we still have a perfect vacuum on this gauge set.
So that means
all this time later.
Yeah, that means it's all good. So basically what we do, it's a high pressure line that connects. We put this down, we put a cup and a rag, and what you're doing is when you open the valve, means screwing it clockwise, the CO2 is going to come out pretty fast. If you let it come out fast, that's when oil comes out with it. You see the oil you collected. Too much oil, too much refrigerant, not going to make it colder, going to make it warmer. So that is a way to get it out. The sight glass would have a ton of it in there. Part of its diagnostic chart, again, go back and look at those free webinars that we've done. I mean, we can't be here for 8 hours. We'd give you an 8-hour class. We're trying to give you enough important information to help you make your job easier and do the job right. Now let's take a look here.
Actually, before you do that, Jerry, what is the expected annual loss of refrigerant on a YF system?
Well, they don't want it more than 3 grams a year. That's why you have the 2913 leak detector. So right now, if you look at this, it says charge selected 3.64. It dispensed 1.66. That probably for the hose. Now watch this. We're gonna hit the button. We're gonna look at, come on. We're gonna tell, it's gonna say start the vehicle with the air conditioner on. And watch what it tells you about the hoses. We are not gonna remove anything unless they tell us.
It didn't say to close the hoses or anything, right?
Nope. Just says start the car. Now it says low side is 79, car health. This does have a temperature probe. We don't have it in there, it don't matter. We're gonna hit close the high side. So now what they're doing is they're gonna drain from the low side. As soon as Pierre tells me he has that all the way backed off, doesn't say remove it, it says close it. I'm gonna hit yes because he's done. Now it says charge 1.64. You can see the gauge is still bouncing up here. That means it's still sucking refrigerant in. Notice this is not going down yet. Now it's starting to drop. So that means it was still sucking in. And again, a lot of guys want to remove the hoses at this point. Do not do that. Wait until the machine tells you.
And we know it's tedious to do that, but that's the only way to get the answer to the right amount.
Now it says close valves and disconnect couplers. See, now both valves are disconnected.
Can you hand me my glasses?
You bet.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm going to use the caps to close these off so we don't...
Insert Now notice it says insert the necessary oil. We ain't putting any oil in. Well, we want to do man tooth or not? Here.
What?
We're going to do man tooth.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
So we're not putting any oil in. Clearing the system. Notice it pulling it down. It's going to pull it into a vacuum. All right, it says charge selected 1.6, charge dispensed 1.64. So remember when it said before, you're on a different screen. Switch back and forth, it looks different there. Switch to this camera. Why does that look red? Oh, I see, okay. But notice we got the exact amount in there. You want to use that tablet there? So it says it's complete. I hit the button.
I guess continue, right?
Yeah, you can't read these thermal papers real good, but basically it tells me the date, 1234 YF, dispense 1.6, and you've seen that this was low. So we're gonna put the man tooth back on it. I'm gonna put this in a vacuum. And by the way, this stuff is very expensive, right? So what you do is when you're done, you shut all your tank valves off. I'm just going to put a 2-minute vacuum. We let the gauge go all the way down. We wrap the hoses up. Why Pierre's putting the man tooth
Yeah, I'm trying to
on there?
get the Bluetooth to connect again because we disconnected it. I think I'm in the right spot.
Gotta go here, you gotta go there, you go there.
Buttonology, right? Jerry set this
Is
up
that
early.
on?
It's on, yes. It doesn't. That's what it did to me too.
Yeah, we had it.
So like everything, right? Familiarity.
All right.
A lot
here
of
we
times
go.
you would do this on your phone, but we have this tablet, so it's better on camera. There you go. 40 and 275. Boy, that's a big difference in the high side pressure, isn't it? It was below 200 before.
Now we got to let it run a little bit. That super coolant is still a bit off.
Right.
We're still over.
Yep.
Maybe pull those wires out, close the doors.
Oh, yes, right. And I have it on auto as well. Should I turn it on low?
Yeah, put it low. You can see that low side is pretty damn low. When you're seeing 24, it's seeing temperature of 32, 33 degrees there. But Pierre, close the door.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Hold on. All right.
Now, see when he just raced it up and it changed?
Yeah, that's what I
So
was.
now we're stabilizing better.
You want me to rev it again, but from inside?
No, let it run. We'll start wrapping some stuff up. Let's give it a few minutes. You definitely seen there was a change. We would want that to be totally in the green, which it's not. It may take a little more or a little less. We'd have to play with it to see what the issue is. Yeah, we're still staying. That high side is not going where we want it to go. How do you know if you need new hoses on an old machine?
How do you know when to remove take the hoses off if the old machine doesn't tell you?
What you do is you never leave the high side on, because these new machines here, the solenoids actually close, because you don't want to suck any refrigerant in, especially a liquid on the high side. So make sure the high side is shut off. You leave the low on until you see the gauge stabilize. Then just like we did here, you mimic that. You shut both of the valves off, take them off, and then recover what's ever left in the hose. Now, if you noticed, it put a little extra in, but when the final charge, it was the exact amount that Pierre had put in there. No difference. Okay. So right now we're still a bit off. We're real close. Look at the chart. We're super close compared to before.
Yeah, it's almost on the line. It hasn't quite gotten there yet.
Yeah, I don't know why our super cool is not being super cool. So it says high subcoolant potential causes: 1, overcharge; 2, low to normal evaporator airflow; 3, low ambient temperature; 4, dirty or restriction airflow over the condenser. So it even gives you diagnostics on it, what that may be, which is pretty damn cool. So basically, we will wrap this up as we keep this thing going for a minute and ask you guys if you have any other questions. We'd like to thank AutoZone. We'd like to thank you guys for staying over 2.5 hours with us. We appreciate it. We will post, I will definitely check with Aircept about those connectors, and I'll find out also from Neutronics why this particular GM vehicle does not, the regular hoses connect. I don't understand why they don't connect. At any rate, from New York, Pierre.
Oh, sorry, I was putting something away. Yeah.
So the video will be up and the handout will be with the video?
The video will be up, the handout will be there, and why the handout, we couldn't post it here. It's usually on the TST website. Someone else handles that. But it will be up there within a day. So you'll be able to view this at Motor Age where you signed up, and at TST. We'll have it up on the TST website no later than Monday night. Okay, with the handout and everything, and Motor Age probably about the same time. So from New York, we'd like to.
What is that website again?
It's the Motor Age that you signed up at.
TST.
TSTseminars.org. So www.tstseminars.org. Look for under videos, and you will see the Motor Age ones. They're free.
If you just do a Google search under TST Seminars, you'll find it.
And again, our YouTube channel, subscribe to it, TST Seminars. And from New York, again, I'd like to thank AutoZone for having us do this. We really appreciate.
Yep, and
Their support.
you know, happy Father's Day tomorrow.
That's right. If you're a father, happy Father's Day. If
Yeah.
not, maybe you'll be a father in the future. And we won't see you, but happy birthday, America, 250 years.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you all who served and gave it all. And just for serving, thank you as well. So God bless you all. God bless America. We'll see you next month with another Motor Age TSD with a different sponsor. Thank you again, AutoZone. Thank you, Pierre. Thank you, Doreen.
Thank you, Jerry and Doreen.
We'll see you next time from New York. I'm G. Trulia.
And
Have a
I'm
good
Pierre
one.
Respo. Good night.